And welcome back, everybody, to Titan Series Season 2, Week 3. Hard to believe we're already 3 weeks in, but we've seen so many great moments, not only from NA, but Latin America and Brazil as well. Hey, it's great to have you. Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you hit that sub button if you haven't already, because we keep that PUBG Mobile action going each and every week. If you're new here, welcome. Let's get you caught up to speed with how the format works for the Titan Series.
This is the Titan Series, mobile gaming's ultimate esports showcase. Teams will battle for ultimate battleground supremacy and a prize pool that stands at $2,000. Each Titan Series season is 4 weeks long, and teams will play in 2 divisions, the Premier Division and the Challenger Division. Both Premier and Challenger teams will play in the qualifier stage that spans the first 3 weeks of the season. From there, the top 12 teams from the Challenger qualifiers will join the bottom 4 teams from the Premier qualifiers to play in Week 4's Challenger Finals. In the Challenger Finals, anything can happen, as the top 4 finishers will join the Premier qualifiers top 12 in the Premier Finals later on in Week 4. The prize pool will be divided amongst the top 3 teams in the Premier Finals, and the top 12 Premier Finals teams will be guaranteed a slot in next season's Premier Division. In the Titan Series, the stakes are always high, as teams have the ability to climb up or plunge down the leaderboard. If you think your team has what it takes to compete at the highest level, prove it. Sign up to play by visiting titanseries.gg. You can also stay up to date with your favorite teams, look up detailed team and player statistics, and even grab custom Titan Series player cards to share with the community. This is the Titan Series, forged in fire.
And once again, welcome back, everybody, to the Titan Series Season 2, Week 3. Let's get into it, right? Because we got a lot to get through and a lot of storylines that's been developing throughout all 3 weeks of the Titan Series. Like I said, I'm Taylor Reflections, I'll be your host, but I'm joined by the usual suspects. We got Powerbang, Hot Jukes, Neptura. It's going to be a great day. And Powerbang, it's great to be with you.
Great to be with you. Thank you so much for welcoming me to this beautiful show. I'm so excited to hop into it today. So many storylines I'm waiting to see play out here in this final week of qualifiers. Teams are battling to get into those Premier Finals, which will be going down next week, and I'm so excited to see who makes it through.
Absolutely, and many great teams, Hot Jukes, we've been watching, and we kind of been picking our favorites here and there. Sometimes it's hit, sometimes it's missed, but either way, we love being here.
Yes, sir, indeed. It's all come down to this, right? Who's going to make it onto the big show and who's staying home? I mean, last season, we had some squads that I really expected to be like an automatic guaranteed slot to the Premier Finals. They didn't make the cut, so I'm hoping that all those teams get it done here today.
Absolutely, and Neptura, great to always be with you. You're hitting milestones in your personal life, and, well, you get a chance to join us once again, right? Whenever it comes to our Titan Series. Great to have you.
Yeah, thanks so much, of course, for having me back on. I mean, I just love this show so much. It's so much fun to watch everybody play and have a good chat with all you guys. So I'm super excited for the final qualifiers because I think there's going to be a lot going on. We've had some big surprises, some big changes, kind of season 2 to season 3, or well, rather season 1 to season 2. There we go. So yeah, I'm super excited to see who's actually going to those finals, and of course, you know, the qualifier points, those bonus points. That's the last time to earn them. So I'm ready.
That's right, last time to earn them, but let's take a walk into the past and talk about week number 2. Powerbang Week 2 gave us a ton of great moments, and one that stands out to me, right, has to be that game number 2, I believe on Miramar, and it was a team Intense Game who ended up scoring 32 points, 22 of those points coming from eliminations. That was the biggest game I think we have seen in the Titan Series to date.
It really was. The Titan Series, at least this season, in Hyper did have one a little bit bigger last season, but this season, oh my goodness, Intense Game came to play, missing the first week entirely, and they came strong in week number 2, and the interesting thing about them is they put up so many elims that they passed all but 4 other teams with only half the amount of games played, so gotta keep my eye on them today. But really the story thus far has been in Hyper, and a lot of it picking up 4 chicken dinners through the first 2 weeks. We'll see if they finish strong here, but Jukes mentioned it. There's some teams moving on. Pretty confident that in Hyper is going to be one of them.
Yeah, in Hyper, Hot Jukes, dude, these guys, so I calculated it, and the math was hard, but I figured it out, all right? They've won 4 out of the 8 games we have had played throughout weeks 1 and weeks 2. I mean, that is a 50% win rate, and they've done so. Remember, week 2 last week, right, Hot Chooks? They were playing with some fill-in additional, fill-in members for the roster.
Oh, that's some good math there, buddy. I mean, and it's so crazy to see. I mean, with a filled-in roster, them dominating everybody, and this isn't the same, right? Premier qualifiers that we saw before, because we're international now. Right, we got teams from Latam, we got teams from Brazil here, and in Hyper continuing to dominate. I really like to see them do it, especially how they performed, with the second place finish in the Americas Championships.
Right. Yeah, and Neptura talking about in Hyper, it seems as if, I don't know if anybody's going to be able to catch them after today. I mean, there's always that possibility, right? I think the big storyline for me, though, is going to be 2nd through 4th. There's only an 8 points difference from YKG up to Aton Esports, and that's not a lot, right? So at least 2nd through 4th could be shifting a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm seeing a lot. I mean, there's always that potential to get those teams, all shifting around in that top 5,
right.
But even lower down reflections, I mean, we're seeing some teams over in the 40s, like only 3-4 points between them. So there's going to be a lot of shifting in the next 4 games if they really want to make it there, because top 8 is where you got to be, and
right.
We see a few teams just below that, so we could see a lot of shifting going on.
Yeah, top 8 is where you want to be, and ultimately, what are we playing for, right? Let's talk about the bonus points, because that's a big deal for me, Power Bang. What do these bonus points look like, and why are they important?
100%. These bonus points are going to be given out after today to whoever is ranked in these slots, right? So the higher you finish, the more bonus points you're going to get. Those are going to carry forward to the finals. So teams like Hyper that likely finish in first place here are going to start with a bit of a head start. 10 points will be carried through those finals. And obviously, those that go down to the Challenger finals, they're going to take 5 points with them as well. And they're really going to have to earn it in those Challenger finals for the 4 that don't make it through the cut today. And as we were looking at those points a bit earlier, there's actually a bit of a gap between 12 and 13. So those bottom 4 teams really have their work cut out for them.
They definitely do, and I'm glad you brought up the bottom 4 teams, because Hot Juice, let's talk about one of those teams that's been struggling, brother, and that's Execute. Execute, dead last in a standing 16th place, but a big adjustment being made. They add 2 new additions to their roster this time around. It's going to be Fate and Casper, alongside that of 2 others. So if there's any point in time to make a roster change, right, to make top 8 after today, today was the day to do it.
That's right. Believe in Juancho. That's what I'm saying, right? They need to have Juancho in the game, right? Let him take charge and just sit back and relax, and we should see them. It's crazy to see them in dead last. It makes no sense to me. That was the team I was automatically thinking about here, as well as, Dauntless, some of the other squads. I mean, this is a pretty heavy, jam-packed division, but, I mean, Execute has a lot to crawl out if they want to make it into the finals.
That's right. Well, this new roster might be able to do that, Hot Jukes. After watching them for the America Scrims, I expected a lot more from them during the Titan series, but they just haven't shown up. But hey, a roster change might be what they needed. These are the formats played today. We got Erangel, Miramar, Sandhawk, and then back to Erangel. And the big change, right? Vikendi is not going to be here this time around. It's going to be Sandhawk. Team Jaguar ended up taking Vikendi last week. Let's see if they can make that map 3 victory once again by taking Sandhawk. Possibilities are absolutely endless. Sandhawk was dominated by Hyper in week 1. So we'll see if they could do so again today in Hyper, holding on to first. Are they going to be able to do it? That's got to be everybody's question. But my question here and now anyways, let's go to you, Neptura. Who are you going for your prediction?
Oh gosh.
I have to.
I know. Let's think about this. I'm gonna go with Aton for I think
fair enough.
They're gonna be strong right out the bat. Same place. They want to bring that up a little bit. I think they're gonna do that.
Bridge that gap, Aton, see if they could do it, and maybe actually they're second place, right? So first place, it's within their grasp. Hot Jukes, what about you?
Why don't we go with Execute, baby, right? Let's do the underdog play, right? You got to go ahead and you got to get a good chicken dinner in strong, especially if they do want to make it to those finals, especially with how these other teams are playing. So if Execute wants to have a chance, chicken dinner, game 1.
Okay, Aton, Execute, Power Bang. what are you feeling like, man? Because sometimes you're the curse, sometimes you're the blessing. So what is it going to be today?
I can't possibly be any more of a curse than I have been so far, but I'm looking at Loops right now. I'm checking out their stats and whatnot. They're sitting the worst right now of the LATAM and Brazilian teams that we've brought in. Of the 4 invited teams, right, from these other regions, they're all sitting in the top 7 right now, so certainly have performed well so far, but Loops haven't really been able to get it going thus far, and I will say that is not normal for them. So I'm looking for them to come out hot today, and they're going to ride Chief to victory here in game 1.
All right, let's see if they can do it. We're all different. I'm going Black Mamba because they won at Map 1 last week. They're that challenger team that entered into the Titan Series for the first time. I think they can get it done in Map 1 and break into top 8. Well, speaking of Map 1, it's going to be Aragao. Let's get into it. So without further ado, PB, Hot Jukes, take it away.
Woo woo! I'm excited, Hot Jukes. It is time for game 1. We got week 3. All of the action that has taken place so far. Well, it now comes down to this to see who is moving on, who's going to secure those top 12 spots, move on to the Premier Finals, and who's going to take those bottom 4, have to go prove it in Challenger, man.
Oh, goodness gracious. And you do not want to see them in Challenger. Imagine if we actually see a team like Loops in Challenger Division. That would blow my mind. You know, so
no shot, bro.
Yeah,
they've already done enough.
Yeah, I know, right? But I mean, it's crazy to see. I mean, hey, we still got today. Anything can happen for a lot of these squads. I hope they did their homework. They had a whole week, right? They got to come out strong here at the Rift.
Absolutely. So getting ready for this first game. Excited to see a little bit of a southern playing path here. Might get some early military action on the battlegrounds, which is always a favorite of mine. But we've got a northwestern area of this circle, though, that I think the circle's going to go up to Stauber. I don't know. It seems like that's been kind of happening a fair bit with these like really extreme plane passes, and then the circle's just on the other side of the zone. That really benefits teams like Hyper that have to rotate quickly to seemingly do pretty well. But we'll see where it goes. We'll see where this thing shapes up.
This is a tough plane path here because we're going to probably see a few eliminations early on, because these squads have to go and jump for a vehicle and try and take off to the rest of the map. So I'm automatically looking. You can see some of these teams like Jaguar, Mezexis, Aton, all grouped up here. Even in Hyper in this area, we might see some crashes. So they definitely got to keep an eye out for that.
We've got a couple squads inside of military base. You've got the likes of Loops down there, and we just kind of called them out, and hopefully we'll see them lock down their area. But Novo is looking mighty interesting with Aton and Mezexis battling for position on the southern island. Other than that, everyone else kind of jockeying for a spot up on that mainland there. And just as predicted, that zone is super, super north, and it's going to be a scramble looking for teams like Hyper to really take advantage of this, knowing that in the farm position, they can rotate pretty quickly and get optimal position in this circle, and I look for them to do pretty well here.
Yeah, they didn't have a team even drop near them, so they didn't have to worry about that early crash I was talking about. So you can already see them in vehicles heading up north, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see them just jet as fast as they possibly can. Now, we got on that left side, we do have Execute going to North George. This is a very fortunate circle for them. So if they want to have that kind of miracle comeback finish, this is a great opportunity. The door's open. They just got to walk through it, PB. They got to walk through it.
Doors open, gotta walk through, as with many things in life here. Interestingly enough, we've got Intense Game, who has made it back for week 3, and I'm excited to see what they can do with this week 3 and you know, 4 more games here at their disposal, because again, with only 4 games under their belt so far, these guys have been impressive, man. That game 2 victory last week, 22 points in just elims in 1 game. So incredible performance from them. And, you know, Intense Game is rocketed up the leaderboard, sitting in 5th place right now. And that is not bad after just 1 week of play.
That's ridiculous. I mean, if they play both weeks, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw them in 1st place. I mean, that's crazy, especially 22 eliminations. I don't think I've ever seen that before, especially with this new meta. So that's pretty crazy. Did he get spotted? I was wondering if this player from Aton did get spotted. I think Remix got it. Yeah, lockdown. And this is what's tough, right? When you have a really rough playing path like that. Oh, was that? He almost got run over. Oh my God, that was his teammate.
No.
He dodged that, turned around, and Remix said, "See ya."
Yeah, not good as far as Aton here. They're having a bit of a rough start. You saw them early on. I thought they were dropping in Novo, actually. They chose to divert their path as they saw Mezexis dropping there and went across the water and ultimately just didn't get there fast enough because it very much looked like Xtreme Slayers got that position early, and now it's just down to one player for Aton.
Oh my goodness, that is ridiculous. And yeah, it's always so tough. Like I was saying, you know, with these plane paths, you got to kind of reach out for vehicles, go to places you're not really familiar with. And the chances of you getting caught out are pretty ridiculous. And I like to see him try to make that miracle run over with that buggy. That would have definitely turned things around for them. But you know what? What are you going to do when you got the juke?
Sometimes you just whiff when you're trying to run people over, Jukes.
Yep. Got the jukes.
No.
That's all you need.
Should have hit the barbershop first. Then it would've been
Oh,
all good.
Yeah. Man, it sucks, man. You think you're gonna get it, they're gonna get it all, then they just miss one spot. And that's what it feels like right there, you know, and you just getting pistoled, especially, that's gotta hurt.
I like what Execute's doing as well. They've got that whole northern area on the map up there, getting that good position. We got into it right now. Aton, they are, well, I thought they were going to try to survive, but Xtreme Slayers has tracked him down. Uh-oh.
See ya. Oh, never mind. Oh, the shotgun.
Wow.
Brutal.
And just like that, Aton out of here. Man, I thought they were going to try to hide out, keep it a little low-key, but Remix is like, no, bro. You're not getting away from us. And they tracked him down, Aton, back to the lobby. So someone cursed the hell out of them because I heard a prediction coming in for Aton, and let's just say they're not going to win this one.
Yeah. And Neptura shaking her head right now, saying, "What have I done?" That's gotta hurt. Who knows? Maybe the teams we predicted could have a nice comeback here. YKG, looks like they got Seagut playing for him. Man, oh man.
Yeah, buddy. These are the good old days, man.
Yes,
Shout out to
indeed.
Seagut, the homie from Lights Out way back in the day. I gotta tip the cap here, and now I'm rooting for him.
Well, you know what? Way back when I was playing with him, I was really on top of him about getting that shotgun in his hands. You know, and this was back in the day before a lot of people were picking it up. Now this is the full-fledged shotgun meta. You know, getting that DBS in your hand is almost a must-have here. So this is definitely his time to shine if he can get it done here. And you know what? YKG is definitely the team to do it with.
Absolutely. We've got Seagut, though. I remember him from back in the day. He was the close-ranged monster, I used to call him. And now that those shotguns are the meta, that could be a pretty tremendous addition to this team who likes to fight, likes to brawl. And we'll see if that shotgun's still nice and polished or if it's got a bit of rust. We'll have to wait and see. But Joey here and YKG trying to make moves and trying to solidify this roster. It looks like they brought out 24K tonight, as well as Chico to join him along with Seagut. So that'll be interesting as the team's now on the move. And we've got the Vigilantes headed towards Everest here, and they are headed right into Intense Game and Bope Esports. So we'll have to see if they're able to squeak by unscathed here, or if they will be spotted out on their journey.
Yes, sir, indeed. I mean, well, you know, as long as when we're talking about meta shit. Oh, actually, we got to get into a huge fight here. Here comes Intense Game, full-fledged sending it onto this member of Bope. Oh, what a headshot, too, from Diego. That was disgusting.
That was disgusting. He flicked up there. He was only on that window for a millisecond and landed that red hit marker, and here comes the follow-up grenade. This is going to be trouble. Doesn't get it through the window, though. Overprimes it. And just like that, not able to connect, but a follow-up does do the job here. Ophelia will be eliminated here from Bope.
Yeah, great heads-up play from Intense Game. They realized that there was a player out of position. We'll send it on him, get the easy point, take the loot. Can't go wrong with that kind of play.
All the teams now in rotation. Everyone leaving that southern island. Only one player remains down there. That's someone from Loops. But in Hyper, as predicted, on the early rotate, headed up north right now. We can see Bope also after losing one on the rotation, and now they've got some company to try to get through. YKG on the flanks, and this is going to be a tough rotate for them as they have been spotted out the start. Shots start to ring in here. YKG going aggressive as predicted.
Yes, sir, indeed. They're right there by that radio tower. Joey just trying to get some nice pop shots off. You can see them making this rotation. One thing I really want to see YKG do a little bit quicker is these rotations. They got to get into that zone and get that spot quickly. And they definitely don't want to take their time here and get too busy with Bope, because look at this. Every position is going to get taken up really, really fast.
Really well. You can see the map here, and the circle centers up, and look at Hyper. I mean, they are dead center in the zone, and they are in a spot right now where they can shore up some defense here and really own this circle. And not only that, but the choke points of those bridge are center zone as well. So that's going to be really interesting to check out. Loops getting into it now with C4. And look at these grenades coming in from range. Wanted Vigilantes going up against Execute. Casper trying to work his way into a support position. I don't know if it's too little too late here, but it is. Man, this is tough for Execute. It's not a spot they want to be in.
Oh, Quan getting knocked there is going to be really hurting the team. Casper with this off angle could try to turn things around. Actually, he's the last player up, and that is going to do it. So Wanted Vigilantes taking advantage of Execute. So, another prediction. Done and dusted.
Oh, no. Loops is next. They're into it right now. They've lost one. Oh, no. What has happened? Nobody picked C4 yet, so that's probably working in their favor.
Oh.
All right, Loops wins their fight. Superior predictor confirmed.
But Loops is still all the way down here in Pachinki. They got a ways to go. Not a really great position they want to be in. Yeah, they got 4 eliminations, so that's going to be pretty decent, but they definitely got a lot.
What is Joey doing? He's like still lurking outside Pachinki here, right outside Loops. His whole team is on the northern island right now. I don't know what's going on, but now we got Jaguar into it with Bope, and it looks like they'll get the finish. Jaguar has 1 knocked, but ultimately they are too strong for a weakened Bope squad, and Bope is out of here with 0 points.
Drop shot. Beautifully done there from Jaguar. Make it some moves, man. I mean, this squad have definitely proved themselves here in the Titan series. We saw them, in the top 3? And they're looking to hold on to that as it goes on here. Dauntless, this is a team, right? You are a big fan of Klaus. They have been pretty quiet so far when it comes to these qualifying matches.
They really have. Dauntless sitting in 14th right now, sitting at 19 points overall. They're going to be trying to add to that point total here. I think if they could, maybe get half of the points they've gotten already right now, that'd be a great start for them. They need to start building some momentum, and ultimately, they're targeting top 12. Anything can happen for any team once it comes to the finals. You can really get hot and have a great day, since the finals really is only one day. You just got to have that good day there. They got to get there first, and securing top 12, I think, has got to be their priority.
100% here. Okay, let's see what Intense Game could do against Dauntless. They are, I will say this, if you're Dauntless, one team you really don't want to be heading up against early is Intense Game, but they do have a bit of a positional advantage. Here's Terran with that DBS, tries to get that pop shot, tight peaks, but gets really beat up in the process.
I don't fully understand this. Maybe I don't see the circle properly, but they are chasing this fight. They had a compound lockdown, and they just went and chased with a couple players this whole Intense Game team. It might work out for them, don't get me wrong, but I'm just wondering why they were so eager for this fight.
Oh, but here comes the third party from Wanted Vigilantes. That's going to be so huge for Intense Game, because now Dauntless is really hurt, but they do have a player knocked as well. Diego looking to get a little bit more intel with that buggy, and Biggs getting some nice shots on the Onder is going to kind of give him a little bit of breathing room. That's going to be huge.
It really will. You know where they wouldn't have gotten third parties in that compound that they just left.
That's true. That's true, but look at this. I mean, and that's, you know what else? You ain't going to get buggied inside of a compound, and they might just, oh, that nade. Absolutely disgusting. Diego coming in hot.
No.
Dauntless just getting picked apart.
They really are. Down to 1 member right now. It's all up to him. It comes down to the efforts of Klaus himself. Let's see if Klaus can get the finish here. And I don't know, man. He's got people on all angles right now. Fishy behind as well. See, again, they're out of circle. You definitely can tell they left because they were trying to prioritize zone. Felt like it was the right time to take a fight. But Intense Game, and having one of Vigilantes on the backside there, making it super difficult. And Intense Game, still with all 4 players in, not the smoothest fight right now, but ooh, nice shots through the smoke here. YKG putting out the pressure.
YKG with the 4th party coming up to try to pick up the mess. And this is what happens when you get those early engagements, especially in a circle like Zone 3. You know those teams are hungry for those elimination points. An intense game. Now the tide is starting to turn in a really bad way for them. YKG looking pretty good here at the start.
What the heck's going on with Seagut not getting a ride from his teammates, man? They made him hoof it. This man's a shotgun, savant, and they made him run to the fight, and he got there after it was basically over.
Well, you know what? It ain't over just yet. Cielo's got this nade. They got to be careful not to group up too tight. And, yeah, I think they're just going to take the money and run. YKG choosing position over this elimination. I personally, I like
Check it out. I like it as well, but now we can get back to this fight between Intense Game and Dauntless, and they can finish what they started. But now it's a one-on-one. We've got Klaus, and we also have Cielo. So we'll see if they can actually get into it here. Somebody's got to rotate, but it looks like YKG has decided to gatekeep. They've pulled onto the other side, and now the winner of this engagement here will likely have to take on YKG. Klaus is out in the open.
Ooh,
Cielo
Klaus
knows where he's at.
just trying to figure something out here. Maybe even looking for a first aid to buy himself a little bit of time. Here comes Papa Blue coming in hot. And he's going to have to make the jump off here. And yeah, it only looks like it's a matter of time for Klaus. Cielo's got his number.
He's being patient. Cielo's just waiting to hit this first shot. He's going to wait till he goes out in the
Oh,
open.
that's it.
Here he is.
And goodbye.
Really, really nice job. He could have fired those shots much earlier while the guy was jumping on the roof and whatnot. Really, really nice job to be patient there, though, and just take the sure thing. But YKG has heard the shots, and they're swarming, trying to pick up another point here.
They needed to commit, though. They either needed to commit or take off. And yeah, they had a little bit of a hesitation there, but it looks like they are opting to take position. So, I don't know. Those little hesitations always kind of throw me up a little bit of a question mark, but they have a new player. So, maybe a little bit of melding is happening.
Yeah, they're edging. You can see the circle on that top right of the mini map. You can't see the safe zone anywhere. So I'm wondering if we had a hard shift down to the southeast, potentially, of this circle. They're having to go all the way around here to avoid the likes of wanted Vigilantes, but they spot Butterfly Effect in the distance, not knowing they're about to drive into a couple of other members that are split pretty wide here. Butterfly Effect owning the top of the zone right now. And on the bottom side, we got the likes of Hyper, still in good position, but missing a man now. And then we're also got Mezexis here, spread pretty wide and covering a lot of ground.
Yeah, and Hyper with 3 up, so they still, with the lead that they have, they're in a pretty good position here. All they got to do is just put some consistent points on the board. Intense game. How do you feel about that, PB? Starting this off with 5 eliminations, but, losing 3 players.
Well, I think that's it's pretty much par for the course, right? They've lost 4 now, though.
That's true.
He's out of here, but hey, they'll take it. Some points, probably not what they were shooting for here, but now Butterfly Effect peeking down the hill. You've got eyes on YKG here. Decent position, but 05 here. Out in the middle of nowhere, and Joey actually makes it across. He's going to have to rotate away. He has no support there from his team, and he'll try to get to safety.
Yes, sir, indeed. Nice little pressure shots, but yeah, the second he saw that he passed him up, time to go ahead and tuck tail and get with the rest of my squad. I like the fact that Butterfly Effect is finally starting to group up here, but maybe a little bit too far out. GK first does smell some blood in the water. He's going to shoot those tires. And I wonder if we're going to see Hyper collapse onto this building. Possibly. GK first is thinking about it. But instead, looking to rotate on and just get more vision.
Absolutely. Some of those shots coming from Hyper all the way across the water, actually. So they're entertaining teams on multiple fronts right now, and YKG finally making their move, and they will take on this Butterfly Effect squad. They found another member, and this is going to be an interesting one. Close range. There's the connection with the DBS, and just like that, the life snuffed out of the Butterfly Effect players. Just one left up on that ridge. It's 05, and he is the team's last hope.
Now you see Joey getting some angles. I really like the way we're seeing this YKG start this game. I mean, they're playing it very, very well. I mean, now we're starting to see them make those quick decisions. Joey on that off angle, getting some more information, and while the rest of his squad takes this gas station for now. But this gas station is not a bad spot to be where the zone is.
I like it. Just waiting to see where this thing moves. I want to see who's going to have to scramble here. A lot of teams still on the other side of the river right now. Looking at wanted Vigilantes, looking at Loops, looking at Jaguar a little bit. And here the circle should close and head north. It does. Jaguar on the way in. They're 2-2 split right now. that could prove difficult. I'm watching for the Mezexis squad to try to potentially gatekeep them. They've got both sides right now, in Hyper on one and Jaguar on the other. That's two top 3 teams that Mezexis is dealing with, and Mezexis currently sitting in 13th. They need these points. They need this placement in order to try to get into those finals.
They need it really bad here. You can see Xtreme Slayers looking to put some on the board as well. Jaguar sitting pretty on the leaderboards. They're just looking to just continue what they've been doing. And Mezexis, they're in a really tough spot. They got to cross this water. Netflix is the one that's really outside of position. He really needs his teammates to put some suppressive fire if he's going to try to make it across.
It's weird telling Netflix what to do, you know? Just seems funny. But we'll keep an eye on it. Got Jaguar starting to group up now, getting to a bit more of a position of strength at this point. And now we've got a couple teams into it as well. Looks like Xtreme Slayers getting the better end of this one. Love to see it, and here comes the rotation.
Take a look here what the play is going to be. Chico.
Gotta get this.
Trying to get these shots off. Oh, what a trap. Beautifully played from YKG. I mean, they timed that perfectly, and that's some more easy elimination points and some good loot to top it off. YKG is looking really good.
Absolutely. We got Mezexis starting to get into it now, and they did get this opening knock. They're going to commit to the Jaguar fight and see if they can avoid the third party here. Good timing as Loops is into it with Hyper, and Loops eliminated now. My pick also out of the lobby, picking up 4 points, going out in 9th place, and Mezexis trying to commit, but Jaguar just in a superior position right now. This is a tough spot to attack.
All right, well, let's see what the play is. You see Black there trying to throw a huge nade to open up this fight. Team Jaguar is trying to find a better position, though. Mercy taking off, and they're going to hold this side of this hill for now. Mezexis did make it across into the water, so that is a good place to be for now. You can just see him just trying to work his way up closer to his team, Inactive. Oh, trying to put more pressure on a Jaguar, but they could buy some time here. They don't have to really get into this engagement just yet.
They don't. Nades down the hill here. Going to be a bit dangerous. See if they can connect. I'm waiting for that last boom. Doesn't get anything here. And Jaguar, well, I've seen better park jobs. Go his though. Making it in. He's going to have this vehicle still. No big deal.
That's what that 4-wheel drive is for, PB, right there. Look at that. That buggy just looking to get some more intel. Mercy driving around. And they're trying to decide which way they're going to head out. Looks like they're going to try and wrap around Mezexis here on the blue zone. That's very dangerous, though. Mezexis, I think, does have a good idea what they're trying to do. Gotta win this fight.
But oh, what the heck? Jukes.
No sweat for blue. No sweat for blue.
Fine.
Inactive. Oh, the runover is not working out here, PB. The buggy, as we've seen before, being a very deadly weapon, but in this match here today,
Good points.
Oh yeah, nice secure there from Inactive.
Absolutely. You know, everybody's depending on him right now to clutch this, essentially. And he's able to get this, is confirm, add a point to the column here, and then get back to safety. Netflix on the other side. Ooh, nice.
Oh, what a nade.
Oh.
Himself.
What a nade indeed. Jukes, what a nade.
Inactive, come on. Make it up for him.
Well,
That's all she wrote for Mezexis.
Mezexis really needed those points, man. And unfortunately, despite a lot of noise, only exiting with one elim there. And it was that confirm that they did go grab, which was probably a heads-up play. But, man, tough breaks for them. Looks like Hyper and the rest of them, Jaguar, are going to continue on here. Jaguar up to 6 elims. They've matched the effort of YKG so far. And got a lot of the top dogs still in the lobby here. Let's see how this shakes out.
And Hyper's still up with 3. They're going to go ahead and take the Wizard Tower right here on the south side of the zone. And they're going to be parking it here for now. They got to watch out for those crashes, though. You see one of Vigilantes. They're going to have to make that climb. And they're throwing a nice little smoke wall. Going to be creeping his way up little by little. And you can tell him looking just at that window, waiting to see a peek. And Kindness finally does peek under. Just juking it. But how long is he going to last, PB? How many seconds do you give Andre here?
4.
4 seconds? It was 2.
There it is. No, I counted in my head. 1, 2, 3, 4.
You didn't use the
I mean, I was
Mississippi.
right.
Who
Sure.
needs it? Who needs it, right? Luna needs them.
You say alligator, I say chicken. 1 chicken, 2 chicken, 3 chicken, 4 chicken. Boom, 4.
That's a lot of chicken dinners right there. And Luna,
Right?
I think, is not going to see one today, or at least not in this game. But we could see it happen later on. And Hyper, I mean, just so dominant position-wise. This squad really prioritizes it. Even with 3 players, they're still so dangerous.
100%. Seagut in the kill feed. Taking down Frady here, and all I see is YKG with 8 points, 4 alive, and that's a strong opening game from them with this revamped roster here. Liking what I'm seeing from YKG. Black Mamba, we had Taylor Reflections prediction here. Black Mamba still with 4 as well, so we got to keep our eyes on them as they head to this final circle.
Here comes YKG. All members up outside of the zone. Not a very good position where they're at on this side. They're going to have to drive up here. Chico is going to make that lean out, but I'm going to assume that Black Mamba is going to be making those shots as soon as he does, but they're very split up. They're looking in too many different directions. Black Mamba has to make a decision of what they're going to cover.
Ooh, close on that grenade. Just misses Black Mamba over there. Everybody's trying to chill for the moment. Ooh, did that land on top of him? It was like right when the camera switched. It doesn't look like they picked up the knock here. Luna under pressure now. Wanted Vigilantes down to just 1 player, and it is Luna. Here's another grenade into your living room, and Wanted Vigilantes is out of here. Look at the zone. It is centered up on Young Kings. That's Joey right in the middle here, and the rest of them into it as well. We've got Chico going up against 05, the last member of Butterfly Effect. And this is an interesting little bit of a standoff here. It's essentially a 1v1. The rest of his team having a hard time supporting. And Hyper's going to try to get to zone as well.
Joey, with a huge push-up, securing the spot for his team, is going to be sitting really pretty here. I like how they have 2 members focusing on the outside of the zone, covering their backside, making sure no surprises are going to be coming up on them. So far, 8 eliminations, looking really good. All they got to do now is just let's sit back, hit those shots, and this should be an easy chicken dinner for them.
Absolutely. Here comes the nades in from Black Mamba. They're trying for a Hail Mary knock here. If they can get something going, they might be able to swing a bit of momentum. You can hear Chico. I mean, you can't hear him actually, but it feels like you can hear him. He's calling out a little bit of a tension over towards that side. We've got Black Mamba inching their way down, and you also have 05 from Butterfly over there. And look at the run over. GK first. Yohis just fell asleep, man. He's like, I'm going to take a permanent nap right here on this spot. This is my spot.
I ain't moving. Nope. But GK first, sending that eviction letter in person. Beautifully done. YKG, again, full roster up. They're looking at Black Mamba on top of this hill. That's going to be their biggest threat, but you cannot count out N Hyper with 3 members up. If they time this right, they could definitely steal this win.
Absolutely. And these 3 members, we're talking Kindness, GK First, and Chiffon. So, I mean, they got some ballers in there that can do some serious work. Black Mamba playing with the big boys now in the region, and that's YKG. And in Hyper, YKG's got all the momentum right now, currently leading the lobby in damage, and they're putting out more of it as we speak.
They have this beautiful little dip here that's giving them all the room in the world to kind of get vision and take these shots. So YKG definitely have the heads up from there. This next zone is going to really decide the advantage of where it goes to. But regardless, right? I mean, we should still see N Hyper be in a good position with this circle now that they have that building.
Look at Seagut and 24K on the prowl. Look at those vehicles. They are cruising as a 2-man unit. I don't know if it's going to pay off. It looks like they do get spotted out right now by N Hyper. Shots being fired and some pressure. And here comes the grenades in. This is really interesting how this is being played. This is a severe 2-2 split. The car blows up. 24K is down. Will his teammate be able to pick him up? That's why they sent him with 2. See if Seagut can be a hero.
I like the idea from YKG. It's the execution that's going to be a little bit tough here because now they're getting a lot of pressure from Black Mamba as well. 24K is completely out of position. Not going to get res. Seagut has to make a huge play for his team. Yeah,
there's no shot. There's no shot. You can see on the minimap that green team, that was Black Mamba here, just immediately collapsed on this position. Not only do they smell extra points, but they smell a chance to stay alive right now. Joey not able to get it done. It's up to Chico now. Chico Chico coming through.
Chico coming through big time. He's gonna hit these shots.
Chico coming
again.
through. Oh!
Barely misses the shots, and YKG goes down. And Hyper jumping on it immediately.
It's in Hyper's game to lose now. Shifan down, but they have info. They have intel. They know where these players are. It's a 2v2. GK and Kindness, I'll take those two against anyone in the region. This is Hyper's game to take. We'll see if they can steal it at the very end here.
Hyper, like some flies seeing a cheeseburger left wide out in the open. I mean, they hauled it the second they saw an opening. I mean, I love that. They could have just sat there back in that building, waited for things to happen. But no, once they saw YKG take that shot with Black Mamba, they pounced. And like you said, it is their game to win, but it is a 2v2. GK First is looking for that big angle. All it takes is one good shot, though, to really turn the tides. First knock here could be the deciding victory.
Are those decoy smokes or are those smokes to where he's going? I can't tell what's going on here. Those came from Hyper.
Yeah, well, he's trying to cut off their sight lines completely. So he wants to eliminate their vision because he knows where they're going to go, right? So they're going to have to pop out the smoke without any idea where these enemies are, while Kindness is just looking for any little movement inside that smoke.
GK is just waiting for somebody to open fire here. They're going to probably have to
Yep.
stand up, and he's got the vision. He connects on Bishop, and it's a 2v1. There's the support from Kindness on the flank. Beautifully done. Hyper picking up their 5th chicken dinner in 9 games. Hot Juice's team is on a roll. Can anybody stop them?
No, not anymore. Not this week, you know, so they're going to have to wait until the finals. And obviously, I think with just how they've been playing, they're going to be having some nice, thick bonus points. But we've seen before, right, that bonus points do help, but they don't mean automatic victory.
Absolutely not. I think that they basically locked up first place with that win. You know, there were some teams that had an outside shot at maybe catching them. With only 3 games to go, though, it's going to take a heroic effort at this point to supplant them in first place. But let's throw it back to the desk and hear what the others thought about this game 1. Lots of action, but Hyper taking it away once again.
Yeah, Hyper just seems as if they can't be stopped. The fact that they have now won 5 games is truly spectacular, you know. So, I mean, it's impressive. Neptura Hyper probably locking in first place at this point. Not probably, but most definitely. So now it's a question of who's going to round out 2nd through 8th place. What is it about Hyper Neptura that is so good that they continue to win game in and game out?
I tell you what, I think the number one thing for me at least has got to be their reaction time. They are so on the ball every single time. They see something, they go. They need to do something, they go. They have that reaction time. That's just really, really crucial. Oh, just like Remix
Speaking
there,
of.
man.
Yeah,
No, but totally.
reaction time.
Yeah, for real. But I think that's really just what sets them above the rest of the lobby in many ways is, you know, there's always those little moments of hesitancy, those little moments of questioning, and Hyper just don't seem to have that all too often, so they really have that edge above the rest of the teams, I think.
Well, big fan of them, without question, and Hyper
yeah.
continues to showcase why they are so incredibly dominant. And, you know, their stats, they don't lie. And also, in those tough moments, you know, I'm watching them play PB. They have the low ground compared to Black Mamba, but smokes are put out tactically. And then also, on top of that, it seems as if they remain cool, calm, and collected. The composure is there. As a competitor, the more you win, it seems as if when you're put in a position to win again, it doesn't affect you as much, right? The pressure doesn't add up as heavily as it was on a team who's maybe trying to win for the first time. Big PB.
There we go.
Yeah.
We
There
got ourselves. Yeah, no, I got you. Got some production asking me some questions, and you know. Anyway, we got Nova though in Hyper. I thought at the very beginning of this game, the second I saw the circle, I was like, this is Nova's game. This is Hyper's game to win. No one above them, and the fact that they rotate so quickly, just like Neptura was alluding to, 100% felt like they had an advantage. And once they lost a player, I was like, oh, maybe not. And then I guess I shouldn't have been surprised at the end of the game when they capitalized via their position and took advantage of some honestly some really big misplays by YKG. That was YKG's game to win, and they botched it.
Dude, glad you brought up YKG. Hot Jukes. YKG was a team that was just looking so incredibly dominant and good, and honestly, not a bad game. Despite them getting third place, 13 points, they'll take that any day of the week, along with 8 eliminations, nearly the top score when it comes to that ranking. But Hot Jukes, YKG's positioning was perfect up until the very end, it seemed.
Yeah, I mean, it was beautifully done. I mean, they had some great... I saw a little hesitation kind of in that mid-game here, and I like the idea of that 2-2 split wraparound, right? It's just really hard to execute at this high level, right? And it's going to be more difficult as time goes on, because no matter how good you are positionally with 2, going up against 3-4 gunners, it's really hard to get it done. So hopefully that's something they kind of keep in mind going forward.
I'd love to chime in on that, Taylor, really quickly. Like, in Hyper, you saw them execute what YKG tried to execute at the end of the game. The second YKG decided to go past that 90-degree angle where you've got somebody that's on the off angle and they tried to wrap all the way around back, they lost the ability to support one another, right? You saw, I'm not sure if it was Chico, but Seagut was over there. Somebody got knocked. It was 24K. Got knocked. There was absolutely no way that Joey's going to be able to get there to support, and he got knocked in the process. They got collapsed on by a whole other team. Had that happened on the off angle, they could have still supported their team. And you saw the end of the game, Kindness and GK. You saw one person with a straight up angle, one person on the flank. That got the job done. Chicken dinner in hand. YKG could take some notes there from InHyper.
Well, YKG taking notes from InHyper, but also I think the competition can learn from YKG in general. With Seagut being back, bro, that man is tearing it up, and everybody's pumped to see him. We look at overall rankings. Neptura, InHyper, no surprise, still in first, but Jaguar holding on tight to second. YKG, with their good effort, that third place from map 1 today puts them in third place, so they move up a ranking over Aton, but hey, that second place well within their grasp.
Oh, it absolutely is. I mean, there's only 7-point difference between second and fourth. I mean, that's not much of a difference at all. I mean, Aton could have, you know, they're allowed one bad game kind of a week, I guess, and this was their bad game. So they still have all the opportunities to make these next 3 games absolute certified bangers, you know? So if they do that, they should get fairly close to InHyper, but I think we're seeing very clearly here that there is just no beating InHyper this week or this season.
No beating, yeah. Dude, InHyper's incredible without question, but also the conversation, Hot Jukes, okay? Top 8 is where we need to be, right? At least to move forward. And that's points. At least that point spread is looking scary, brother. Like, I'm starting to get a little bit worried for those teams down there on the bubble, or top 12, excuse me. But even from top 12 to top 8, brother, those point spread, it's not a lot.
No, it's not. It is definitely not. I mean, it's crazy to see, you know, like I said at the top of the show, how Loops, right, could be in dangerous of not making it in. I mean, they definitely have enough points. It would take a crazy showing from Execute and all these other squads at the bottom to pass them up. But it's not impossible with 3 games, right? It's not a crazy, crazy gap. I mean, we could just see... We heard PB talk about how much Mezexis needed those points. There's still 3 more games, right? If you're able to go and get into that top 3, you should be good to go.
Should be good to go. Neptura, though, game 1 is done. There was a lot of great moments. What moment stood out to you?
Well, I gotta say, I think we're going to a replay very, very shortly. Here we go. Yeah, I just wanted to point this out, right? Mezexis, I thought Mezexis had this in the bag. Honestly, they looked like they were prepping really, really well. They had their kind of, their squad all sorted themselves out. They were all looking very good. But then Jaguar, you know, they had a strategy, and they actually worked really well. I love the double, you know, front and back kind of push onto that first player that got knocked. But I tell you what, I think Mezexis, that was their loss right there, because Mezexis just didn't have that reaction time that the YKG and the InHypers of the world do. And they did not push that team, or they didn't push the knock, didn't go to cover that knock and get him back on his feet and try and defend a little bit. And that's what kind of killed it for him a little bit there. I think that's really where it's going downhill for this knock right here. They just defend it, you know? They just did not defend it whatsoever. At least not allowed Jaguar to get that, that entry point into the team. There we go. I tried.
Hey, Neptur, you're
not my forte at 2 in the morning.
Oh, you're good to go. Hey, come on. You're one of the top coaches out there, at least, and for sure the top analyst when it comes to the Titan series. Hey, of course, Hot Chooks Power Bank. I'm not saying anything about you. I'm the dumbest one here. I'll just go ahead and point that out. I'm just saying. But Neptune, I appreciate you for your section there, and hopefully we'll have a couple more, right, as the broadcast goes along. But let's start moving our conversation into Map 2, because things are going to start getting serious here, PB, and I'm excited for Map 2 for one specific reason. Intense Game goes back to a map they found great success on and scored a ton of points, right? So if history can repeat itself, they could very well be hopping up to second place before we know it.
They really could, and Intense Game needs those points, man. They're sitting at 53 overall right now, and that is a fair bit behind where they need to be to kind of get back into this. And I think they can do it. I really do. You saw them get into it with a few teams there. Actually, you know, they were kind of caught out in the woods, and they got pushed by Klaus and Dauntless, and then they got into it with YKG, and ultimately they lasted a decent amount of time given the amount of pressure that they were in. But excited to see what they can do again here on Miramar. But it's put up or shut up time for a lot of these teams right now. And I really like the fact that some of you put up some points about the point spread. There's basically no difference between number 5 and number 12. It's all basically even. But the bottom 4, they've got work to do, and the top few teams have really separated themselves, with Hyper being the biggest point sponge I think I've seen ever.
Yeah, I think the conversation and really the magnifying glass now has to be on the bottom teams. Are they going to move up? Who's going to be able to shuffle up to the top? I don't know, but at least for Power Bang, rapid fire prediction. I've been stopping up with Neptura, but PB, who you going with?
That's a great. Oh man, I'm gonna go with Intense Game. We were just talking about them. Let's go back there. Intense Game. I liked their performance last week on Miramar, and they're gonna go make me look good.
All right, Hot Chooks, rapid fire. Who you going for, baby?
Why not Mezexis? Come on, right? Put the points on the board. Let's make this a show, baby. Make
it a show. Mezexis, Neptura, who you going for?
Black Mamba.
Black Mamba all the way. I like that they got second place. That's the most rapid fire I've heard you make a call anyways, Neptura. I love it. For me, I'm going to go with C4. Let's see if they can lock it in and break even further up to that top 10 food chain. Without further ado, let's hop into Miramar map number 2. And this time around, Dave, Hot Chooks, take it away.
Let's go, baby. We're headed into the desert. I got beside me the man, the myth, the legend, Mustache Steve. What's up, brother?
Hey, how's it going, Hot Jukes? Great job, Game 1. You and PB always bringing the heat, man. I'm looking forward to this. We got Miramar. We're talking heat, Hot Jukes. We got the heat here in game number 2.
Speaking of heat, man, it is hot as heck here in Texas, man. It's even hotter in the Titan series because we're forged in fire over here, baby. Forged in fire. Intense
Titan
game.
series.
Looking to turn up the heat even hotter, because I mean, that if that was an inferno last week, what we saw on Miramar, okay, right? Game number 1, they come out swinging, right? They missed a little bit, but they came out swinging, right? If they land here, it's GG. It's GG.
It's done. It's, you know, it's done after that.
Correct.
By the way, Canary in the chat wants to know, Jukes, what are you looking at? I guess what were you looking at on the break right there?
I was looking at the scoreboard. Looking at the scoreboard. That's right.
All right.
I had my little tablet down here, and I was looking at it, just trying to get that intel. You know what I'm saying? And I am locked and loaded with all of those stats, Dave.
Lock and loaded. Lock and loaded, Jukes, honestly. So going into game number 2, Miramar, we can see the desert. Where's my rapid fire pick? All right, everybody got their pick.
Rapid fire pick.
All right, rapid boom. Last week I was gassing up Dauntless, and I looked at the chat and like, Dave, you totally jinxed us. I said, nah. I'm gassing you up, and I said, hey, what do we need? And they told me, Dave, listen, if Clint can just ×8 the DBS, we should have this in the bag. So I said, Clint, get it done. Shotguns for days. That's why I'm gonna stay with Dauntless. I think they have what it takes here. Jukes, Laggy Panda, super happy to be here in the lobby. They were telling me they're gaining a bunch of experience, you know, on the battleground. So I always love to read that from the players. Even though when they're down at the bottom, they're still vibing. So I think because of that, Dauntless, I think they should qualify today, man, because they still have their hopes up.
Come on. right? It's all about the dream, baby. Oh, speaking of the
what's
king,
happening here, though?
YKG! And Water Vigilantes getting into it hardcore. Joey, he did find a Uzi, but it's Joey on top of a mountain, right? Two of their teams already go. Seagut and 24K are already dusted, so that is gonna hurt. Water Vigilantes still have their entire squad up, except for one that is knocked. Chico, no vest, trying to make it happen.
Oh, you saw him. You saw him. M249. Chico getting it done with another reverse drop shot right there. The reverse drop shot, Hot Jukes.
And that was actually Joey. Joey up on top of the hill with that mini, hitting a huge shot. Got the knock, and now one player left. Chico actually sends it. This is dangerous. He needs to back off. Wait for your teammate, brother.
When you're feeling it, you're feeling
Wait
it,
for your
man.
teammate.
When you're feeling it, you're feeling it. No meds, 1 grenade, 2 smokes. Might opt to hit that reload. But like you said, where's the teammate? Where's the support right here?
Wait.
This is a 2v1, essentially.
Illusion really realizes it. Illusion realizes, like, hey, you know what? I got to get this fight done now. Yep.
Got him.
Beautifully done.
And then you immediately see Chico look behind him like, where are you? Joey, where are you? Joey's on their way with only 11 bullets, Hot Jukes. This is a beautiful fight. I'm here for it, man. I love it. Joey, 11 bullets. We hear them downstairs, opening the door. Might be opting to get the pickup onto Chico. Illusion swapping to the Winchester.
No way. Illusion has to challenge this. He knows. He knows he cannot wait. Oh, I do see a Thompson in Joey's hands. That's dangerous. Illusion has to make a play. He cannot waste too much time because if they get this res off, he knows he's done for. Oh, he jumped out. And he's denying the res, which is beautifully done. He's buying more time. Chico coming out. Gonna have to make the challenge. Joey, gotta win the 1v1. The jumping headshot. Right on time.
Wow, you love to see it, Hot Jukes. And guess what? I was talking to Joey before the game started. I said, Joey, what's the game plan? And Joey said, win NA. That's it. The game plan all year, not only today, but all year, is just to win NA. And I quote.
Wow. Well, not a bad play here from Chico and Joey to finish it out. Unfortunately, they did lose 2 players early on, so that's going to be pretty tough. But it's all about just getting them bonus points, right? Top 8 is what makes those bonus points. And the higher placement you get, the more bonus points are in the bank. Oh, look at that. That slow motion.
So good. Yeah, slow motion. I mean, the Titan series, the production crew is just on the top of their game here. Congrats to everybody involved because this is a beautiful production. Season 2, Match 10 Titan series. Listen, Hot Jukes, you said they lost 2. I'm not even mad, man. They got 4 elims out the bag. That's equivalent to a 4th place finish here on Miramar.
That is what I am talking about right there. So, I mean, yeah, that's going to help them out a little bit. I think I kind of wanted to see them all 4 up, though, because I feel like YKG, their real big struggle is just like body awareness and just positionally where they're standing, right? Because you look at in Hyper, they seem to always put themselves in a spot where they're at such a massive advantage that all they got to do is just, hey, hit the shots and it's an automatic victory for them. YKG, they seem to take some certain angles that are just a lot riskier. So I want to see them with all 4 up because Titan series, this is the place. This is the place to galvanize your skills and take yourself to the next level.
Definitely the place to be here. And you kind of saw it right there with Chico, and you made a great call. Chico, just wait a couple moments. Wait a couple moments because you knew Joey was on the approach. Oh! Whoa. Okay.
C4. What a pick. Taylor. Wow. Come on. Sicko has to make it happen here. Daddy Payne. He's got the Winchester, though.
Best gun in the game.
Best gun in the game for everybody out there that has watched the tutorial in the game, right? Yep. About the Winchester. You know everything about it.
You know. But here comes Debo rolling up with the UMP spray down. The back and forth. Just too strong for Daddy Payne.
That's gonna hurt right there. That doesn't feel too good. The rest of the team does get that res, and they are heading out for this position. And they are getting picked apart.
A lot of action here early on, Hot Jukes. Not gonna lie, a lot of action here. You love to see it. Is that CeeLo in the front lines with a grenade? Yes, it is. A dude's out here cooking it, man. Oh, that was close.
Devo up on the hill. Now looking towards intense game. Here comes that third party, right? Early game fights. You have to get them done quick. And then you got to watch your back immediately because you know that third party is coming. And CeeLo looking to get into the action. But he's in a really tough spot. Yeah, he's got that truck near him. But he is so focused on both C4 and Butterfly Effect. Rest of the team up on top of the hill. They got to come down and help him out here.
Yeah, intense game really spreading thin right now. Not exactly sure what the play is from CeeLo besides kind of just seeing red, trying to get some elims, but definitely a blessing for C4 because Hot Jukes, they were in the open trying to get the revives not too long ago. So CeeLo kind of providing the perfect window for the squad, or at least who's left of the squad, to kind of pull back into cover and get a reset over there. So blessings for C4.
All right, well, let's see where this next zone's going to go. Is it going to head up north? It's going to actually go a little bit to the east side here. Hacienda del Patron is still in play. I would love to see a Hacienda finish. That would be hype. And Hyper looking for that high ground. You know, that is what they love to find in Miramar, and they have it all to themselves here. Intense game starting to collapse. Oh, a nice knock there on the Ghoul. That should be a wrap for C4.
They're still in it, though. They're still in it. They are getting surrounded. Psycho with the M249. Back against the wall. Not even going to attempt to get the pickup. The 1v4 right now, Hot Jukes.
We'll see it happen? Do you believe?
I don't see it happening.
You don't believe?
I love how they're just all surrounding this one building, though. Like, Psycho has nowhere to go. They have to fight their way out of this and win every single engagement.
He's coming in here with the cheeky angles. It ain't gonna happen. So, intense game, shutting down C4. That is two teams out of here. An intense game, starting off with 4 eliminations and everybody up. Dangerous.
Yeah, so C4 kind of getting too close for comfort on the overall. Currently, before this game started, 10th place. And remember, top 12 move on. So
Correct.
C4, they were the champs last season, if I'm not mistaken. They were dominating, so I am kind of surprised with their results here so far. But it is not just one region anymore, you know? So it definitely got spiced up here this season. I think C4 kind of finding out the hard way here and in the lobby how competitive it is now.
Oh, it's ridiculously competitive here in the Titan series. I mean, I love the fact that we got teams from all over the world competing, and that's just making it much more intense. And I love it because it makes teams better. You know, the more competition there is, the better the squads are going to get. And you can just see here YKG Joey getting caught out of position. And now it's just Chico. Last one up for YKG.
Yep, looks like they're going to be following One Shot Esports, who used to be known as V2. Kind of like the name change, actually. One Shot.
I like it.
Yeah, just sounds good. It rolls off the tongue really good. But hopefully they have their head on a swivel because Chico could definitely backstab them from the blue here. So hopefully new name means new abilities here in PUBG Mobile, and that is being able to see completely around you. But talking about the abilities and Hyper, Jukes, this squad, man, they have been just dominating. I mean, before this game started, first place, I think there was like 135. Behind them is Team Jaguar with 78. So there is a huge point difference between first and second. And to me, that scares me because then Hyper, with that many points ahead of second place, they have a lot of room to really work with and experiment. And that's what gets me scared for Hyper.
And Hyper always securing that high ground, and now look, you can see them just like a spider setting up a trap for their prey, just picking off Mezexis now. And Mezexis, one of the teams that so desperately needs those points. Remember, we said it again, it's top 12 that makes it on top 12. And Debo springing the trap onto GK first. and
then we're out of there.
And he said, you know what? That's in Hyper. We're gone.
We're gone. This is on Sandhawk and Erangel we call them snakes, but on Miramar we call them worms, right, Hot Jukes? That right there, Debo, the worm in the dirt, catching GK off guard. Not even seeing that one coming. The quick thirst and flush too.
No one wants to get wormed, dude. And
the worst.
It is the worst indeed. Yo, getting that nice confirmation. I'd like to see that. It's an intense game.
They're feeling it.
This is when they're deadliest, to be honest. When they start getting those early eliminations with all 4 up, it's scary, but Diego gets caught out. Oh my gosh, the revenge.
The one-shot revenge right there. The BM.
Now they said, see you. Oh,
hey, but look, at what cost, Hot Jukes? That's the thing.
That's what it was.
At what cost?
Adrian's pissed. You can see those are very angry shots. But that was all it took. And Jaguar,
we're here.
Looking to clean up One Shot Esports. Peep trying to keep his way to victory. Right here with this play. Nice headshot. Gonna get that confirmation. And Jaguar, the rest of the team are way too late to this.
Yeah, with the 8KM as well. I saw Chico out there with the MG3. Oh, here we are. Chico just going to be letting this one rip over here. A nice little 1v1 here on the edge of the play zone. Chico swapping to the DBS. Looks like both players cooking a grenade. Doesn't even matter. The third party from Team Jaguar from afar helping Chico right here.
Oh,
got him.
Nice finish. Beautifully done. So Chico picking up another steal, another precious point for YKG as intense game dwindled down to 2. Intense game, again, so dangerous when they start getting those early elims, but then it's like they get a little too confident, lose a couple players, and then it's just downhill from there.
Yeah, looking at intense, looks like they only got one player that's still up. This game alone just hit over 1,000 damage done, so they've been doing pretty well here. Looks like they should be able to get the pickup. And guess what? Guess who else is getting the pickup? You in chat right now. UC giveaway picking up the new skin. Get it while it's hot.
Take that to the bank right there. New skin in the chat and a new zone about to pop. Where is it going to go? Loops centered up pretty well. Execute have a nice position on that northwestern side there with some high ground. So we might see some execute action. Dauntless, another team that could use the points big time, are outside of that zone. They're at the top right of your screen. Everybody, right there on the map. So they're going to have to get past through Bope. Another squad down on the leaderboard said, but Bope already losing 1. It's not looking too good.
Bope saying nope. Was it Loops last week, their first week? Was Loops a team that sat out a week? I'm trying to think here because I remember there was a team that came in after a week of missing out, and they just dominated here, Hot Jukes. And I think it was Loops, currently in 7th place, and I'm bringing them up because they have a really solid position right now in this play zone. They could be looking at a chicken dinner. I know 0 elims, but still 4 up.
Still have 4 up. Can they finish, though? That's always going to be the question.
True.
And Hyper back up with 3. Outside of the zone, trying to creep their way in. Black Mamba.
That was Nepturo's pick this game, right?
Yes, it was. This was Nepturo's pick here. So Black Mamba are going to be holding it down with all 4 up. Oh, Klaus gets a nice Molotov knock on the butterfly flag, and Chico finally goes down.
And that right there is just the YKG playstyle in general. You know, they're never afraid to take the shots. They're never afraid to take the fight here. Some teams, you're the solo player and your squad mates are just telling you, don't shoot. You know, just crawl. Just avoid the sight lines. Try to get the placement points. But with YKG, regardless of how many squad mates they have active in game, they are always looking for the fight, Hot Jukes.
Yes, always. You know, and it looks like intense games on that time as well. Even with just 2 players up, you can see they're still looking for some shots. Oh, Hayuya getting his head busted open from Klaus.
Teammate, watch out. Oh, man. Has that happened to you? That had to. Like, you have the perfect angle. You're taking the shots. You know, one more shot away. You got the knock, and then your teammate just peeks in front of you because they want to take it. But talking about taking it, we were just talking about Black Mamba looking to take this game. Looks like they're still going to be surviving, but that was IG looking to push him over here.
Well, you know what they did? They took Intense Game, right? So Intense Game now out of there in 12th position with 7 points. So, I mean, that's still a good solid little finish there for them, even though they went out so early, man. They are really racking up those eliminations. Bope team really needs to get it done here if they want to confirm themselves in those finals. They do not want to be in that bottom 12. And we're seeing it here, Dave. We're seeing a lot of these teams at the bottom, right, lasting all the way to the end here.
Yeah.
But can they succeed? Bope now having to challenge Aton Esports.
Yeah. It's in a vehicle too, so
yeah, they're getting.
They're right on the edge, Hot Juke. So if this next circle doesn't favor them, I can't really tell if they have any other utility to work with to kind of close that gap. And I believe Aton knows exactly what's going on here, and they're trying to set up a nice little gatekeep over here on Bope. As Bope, they're going to be using some smokes to try to close the gap and take the fight. They're being proactive here in this engagement, which you like to see. But Aton, they just have the better position, in my opinion. Next circle goes up as well. So, yeah, Bope, they are going to have to push.
And push, they will. Next zone, yeah, does pop on over loop. Still big chilling in the center. Not having to worry too much with all 4 players up. And now Aton's going to start gatekeeping them. Here they go. They're starting to push up here. Filia has to get this initial knock. Can he get it done? He gets time, just get the headshot. Oh, and just get the confirmation, gets traded. That's going to be tough. Fuego is way too out of position, and now they're getting third party by Dauntless.
Yeah, this is insane. Dauntless from behind, just strolling up. I mean, talk about timing. Dauntless's timing was perfect over here. Oh, but they got to watch out because Aton looking to put in some work over here. And Bope still going to be alive, at least with 2 for now. Like we said, they have no vehicles, so the duo from Bope, they are just in a sandwich here, Hot Jukes, and not the good kind.
Yeah, they're not getting out of here. I mean, Papa Blue's coming in hot. They're getting third-partied like crazy, unless Aton just gives it up to them. Nightcrocs pops out the window and just gets instantly finished.
Yeah.
Gonna take
if I'm Dauntless, I'm still pushing this, though, man. I know we got this road kind of separating the 2 teams, but Dauntless, one of these squads that we were talking about on the overall leaderboard, that they need these points. So if you see some potential points ahead of you, I would advise them to take the fight.
Yeah, well, Fuego gets taken out to the play zone, so now Dauntless is going to have to get on the fight with Aton. They did take their time, though, and Aton did get the positional advantage, and you know what? It's just tough to see Bope go out with another goose egg finish when they desperately needed those points. But, I mean, heck, 2 full party squads gatekeeping you. When you're down a member, it's all over.
It is all over, and I believe we also have Xtreme right ahead of them. So, yeah, Dauntless, they really need to be cautious right here with their 3-1 split.
Nice knock on that off angle, and they're gonna get another player. Aton splitting up and now getting picked apart. Beautifully executed from Dauntless, and Dauntless, one of those spots at the bottom, but Big Z full sends it, gets knocked. Klaus has to come in quick. Not quick enough. Skipper gets finished. And Aton with 2 players up. Dauntless picked apart like crazy. Now they only have 1 member. That's it. It's just Klaus.
Yeah. They do have, what, six elims so far, but like you said, down to just a solo, now in the smokes, just trying to stay alive, but really all eyes are going to be up here on top of this hilltop. Xtreme Slayers taking some shots over there. And Hyper from way downtown, I believe, getting a little love tap right there. Klaus now in the bush. Still going to be taking the shots, though, Hot Juice.
He misses up, and that's going to be tough. And his helmet and vest are busted like crazy. You can tell him, see him desperately trying to get those points, as every single one matters. As Dauntless tries to creep their way up into that top 12. Klaus, honestly, if it's going to get done, if Dauntless does make it, it's going to be on the back of Klaus.
We'll see, because looks like Execute now going to be applying some pressure at Aton over here. Klaus still across the way in the bush. Just trying to survive a little longer as Casper going to be making the pull up. So looking at Execute, I believe they got Casper and Fate clocking in today, maybe even Quan. So they're trying out a lot of different players, trying to see what meshes here. You'll love to see it. 3 elims going their way so far in this Miramar game. And I'm not going to lie, they're looking pretty confident right now, Hot Jukes.
Yes, they are. And here comes Execute. Execute all the way at the bottom of the leaderboards, pressing from outside of the zone. They need to get these shots down range. And you can see them looking at Hyper all the way across. As Hyper has 5 eliminations, 3 players still up, still so deadly. Loops is the one that I'm really looking at too. They've been really quiet, but they're in a really good spot.
Yeah, Loops almost at 400 damage done here this game, and Hyper 5 elims with over 1,000 damage done this game. So this team and Hyper, they never just sit back and relax and drink the lemonade. They're always putting in work here, Hot Jukes, and they're gonna be taking out the utility, the armor, the meds of all their opponents, just setting up that late game. But here comes Black Mamba. 777 a bunch of times with some grenades to hopefully open up the fight over here with Cat God.
Here they go, Black Mamba. Oh, trying to open things up with some grenades. They looks like they do get a couple taps here and there. Trying to piece up one shot. Ooh, Quan gets Chiffon knocked, and Quan, former player from the Panthers, now with Execute, trying to keep this team alive.
Yeah, Quan's such a good player as well. But getting back to this here, Cat God with the Tommy gun on the outskirts. Bishop inside with the M4. Able to take down one shot. One shot still with 2 up. Trying to survive here. Both of the players, though, going to be dinged up quite well, as we can see on the live tracker on the right-hand side. And that's it. They're done.
Just like that. Oh, Casper tries to pop into his buggy to get into zone and gets pieced up in the process. I think he's going to try and see if he can buy some time for his squad mates. Quan comes in, but they mistimed that big time.
Jeez.
And Casper going up top. I'm not sure what he was thinking about this. And things not looking good for Execute anymore.
Yeah, looks like fate. Lush right there. Casper still alive. Was able to get that fuel off over there.
Casper.
M249. Here comes the spray down through the window.
Got him,
Casper. Like you said, finally finding these shots over here, Hot Juice.
Oh, he jumped the window.
Immediately taking out Volt into the window right there from Chiffon.
That was a tough fight right there. And Execute definitely gonna have to do their homework after that one, because that was just mistimed like crazy. Now, speaking of good timing, this is how you do it right here. And Hyper just right on time as always.
They lost GK first to the Miramar Worm earlier on, but still putting in a lot of work. And here's the question. Loops forced to push out of their safety and comfort finally. And Hyper on the high ground looking right on top of them. So we got pretty much 2 separate fights on both ends of the play zone right now, Hot Jukes.
Let's see what Loops looking to do. Loops has been quiet all match because they haven't had to move a muscle. So they've been hanging in the spot all game long. 0 eliminations, but are going to definitely get some placement points. And Hyper are going to have the hill and zone. So, and Hyper with 3 players. Looking pretty good here. Looking really good.
Dr. Coy is still in the house as well for Hyper.
The doctor.
The doctor's in the house. Loops, they know they're safe for the time being, but they also know the risk of Hyper right above them. So really, both of these teams, Hyper and Loops, could kind of work together for the time being and look to take out Black Mamba across the way.
See what shots are going to happen here downrange. Kindness. Oh my gosh. They've got Black Mamba's number here. Cat God not looking in a good spot at all, but he's just going to have to wait it out. I don't see any vehicles nearby them, so he's just going to have to just creep his way little by little and just try to survive.
Yeah, not only that, I mean, Cat God is sticking out like a sore thumb right there, looking like a pickle out here in the desert. All green. Respect it, though. Jukes definitely respect it.
Kindness. Yeah, all eyes are on Black Mamba right now. Just pick up these points, and then we'll worry about whoever is down the hill a little bit later.
What's even more interesting is I'm pretty sure cats are afraid of pickles, so just
are they
out there? Yeah, they always jump. But, oh, look at this though, Mythic. So looks like Loops are gonna be pushing uphill. Dr. Coy cooking a grenade, and it looks like as Mythic was pushing uphill, Black Mamba from downtown trying to get a piece of the action as well.
Cat God, yeah, just trying to secure some points. Black Mamba with 7 here is looking pretty good. Zone does center up. And I believe in Hyper is just outside of this, but with their hill, they're going to have a ridiculously good advantage here. Now, Black Mamba could have a chance
Right there.
if Loops and in Hyper decide to battle it out here early.
Yeah, in Hyper, almost 2K damage done. Loops, almost 600. Black Mamba, 1,400. So Black Mamba, with their 7 elims, they have been putting in the work here. But now down to just a duo. I believe they're right there on the cusp. Not exactly sure if they have any vehicles to work with, Hot Jukes. They do have a couple smokes, but it is going to be a deadly push for Black Mamba.
You can see Shifan with the tight peaks here. Just does not want to get knocked. I don't think this is in zone either. They have to go out in the open, and they're really concerned with Black Mamba because they're the ones that have those angles onto them. Boy does, with this vehicle, secure this position by this tractor, blows up the truck, and now he's got a nice little makeshift wall here. But he's got to watch out for his toes.
Exactly.
He's got to watch out for his toes.
Yeah, the toes are just all exposed, fully exposed. Oh, and you called the Shifan going out to pop a blue right there.
That's rough. That's tough.
Mistakes were made. Now Mythic is going to be in the back lines, pushing uphill, so we'll be looking right on top of and Hyper. Oh, Shifan's still alive. Shifan. And you know what? The timing right there, the Shifan trying to get the pickup, that took away a couple seconds for Kindness to set up.
It's really up to Koi, but Koi doesn't have the best wall, and you can just see them toes getting blasted. And yup, Ayala spotting them out, sneaking that needle right through the thread, or thread right through the needle, whichever one. Koi got knocked, and now it's just Kindness.
Love the vehicle. This should be it.
You peek.
Kindness making their last stand right there, and the duo from Black Mamba still alive across the way, Hot Jukes. Final zone, dead center. Now it's up to Cat God.
What can Cat God do? You know what he can? Secure second place finish right there. And it's Loops. Loops that get that chicken dinner, right? They said, Jukes, us not making it into the finals? What you talking about, son? What you talking about?
Not today. And definitely giving some flowers to Loops. It was looking kind of dicey there for a moment when and Hyper were right on top of them, because at any moment and Hyper opening it up with a grenade, a Molotov, and that would have been it, in my opinion, for Loops, because let's be real, and Hyper, they were feeling it that game. But Loops staying alive, staying safe, keeping their numbers active for that late game, coming out with a clean winner chicken dinner.
What they say, right? I've heard it before that when Hyper gets the high ground, they have a 99.9% chance of winning, right? But that blue zone, Papa Blue said, you know what? Let's take it back to that low ground, and that was all she wrote.
Well, talking about writing some stuff, let's bring back everybody else and see what they were writing during that game.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Hey, first off, Dave, how was vacation, man? How you feeling?
Hey, look at me, man. I got a 10. I was chilling. Oh, man, it was
Nice.
good. It's good. But it's good to be back here forging some teams in fire. But thanks for asking.
That's right. Now, you're looking tan, man. Me, I would have been red, right? I would have been like that lobster, okay?
Same.
But hey, you're looking good. Yeah, me and Neptura, we're in the same boat there. So, Neptura, though, Dave, great to have you back, man. I always love being on desk with you. Neptura, game 2's done
Sir.
with. In Hyper, despite third place, still getting 17 points. Their lead continues to grow. Black Mamba, though, a big storyline for me, second place. So 2 back-to-back great games coming out for Black Mamba. They continue to rise up and honestly could very well be top 5 by the end. But the big storyline is Loops. Despite them not getting a lot of points, they finally get a victory in the Titan series for Season 2.
Yeah, they really do, and I just want to stop anybody who's going to say they got that zone handed to them, because did you see how they handled Hyper there up on that ridge? Hyper pretty much should have had all the advantage up there on that cliff, and they did not back down. So GG's to Loops for that one. And you know, Black Mamba, they've done really well, but that zone really messed them up. They're so open they couldn't do a whole lot. But yeah, big GG's to Loops. You know, points don't always mean the most. Especially to a team who hasn't been doing as well as they might have liked to. You know, just getting that win is going to be that confidence boost, that morale boost. They're going to be very happy going into Game 3.
Yeah, they have to be, and that morale boost is there. I've been watching loops all the way back before PNPL Championship for our America scrims. They were always consistently top 3, but they can never get into that first place position, so it's nice to see them get first. We all know how much of a fan I am of the loops roster, and, well, for good reason. They are highly consistent, or they can be at times. Good on them. And for you, though, Hot Jukes, again, going back to Black Mamba, a team that came from the Challengers, their first entry into the Titan Series was this season, and this is one of the strongest weeks we've seen them have.
Great start here, right? Cat God clutching up at least a second place finish. I mean, where they were at positionally, it was going to be almost impossible for them to get this win, right? But for them to edge out and Hyper just showed that, hey, you know what? We're going to be able to secure some more points, and we are here to play. Hopefully we can see them in the finals, right? Just have a great day. That's really all it takes.
What it takes. And Dave, I'm with you. One Shot Esports, it's got a ring to it. You know, love that name aside from V2. But Execute also, 6th place, a good placing considering how they've been throughout all of the weeks. Coming into this week, they had a new roster. How do you think they performed if you got a glimpse of them?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, looking at Execute, they've been experimenting a lot this season, and that's okay. You know, experimenting, nothing's ever wrong with that. They were dead last coming into this game. A couple points, but to answer your question, I feel like they're finally starting to show signs of life and kind of sync together almost a little bit right there, as we saw on that last push. Yeah, it didn't work out at the end, but the fact of the matter is they recognize they need points, so they're going for these risky plays, and that's what I love to see.
Let's take a look, Hot Jukes. Top 12. Wanted Vigilantes will at least even that out with 38 points. Dauntless behind them at 28. You know, Wanted Vigilantes didn't have the best of game number 2, but it's still enough to hold on to the top 12 position. Do you see Mezexis, Execute, Bope Esports, or Dauntless, you know, coming up into that top 12? We only have 2 more maps to go.
It's possible. It's definitely possible for pretty much all of them. If they have, like, you know, some of them, you know, like Execute need to have 2 monster games back to back, but Dauntless just needs 1, right? With 10-point differential, they could definitely do it, especially if one of Vigilantes keeps getting stuck in these early game fights.
One of Vigilantes, you know, those early game fights, it worked out for them at least in map 1, but does it work out in map 2? No, it doesn't. So map 3, will they find the middle ground? Well, we'll find out. Map 3 is going to be coming up. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, though, we'll be dropping into Sandhawk. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Look at a grenade. Toss that one right into Kindness, saying you can have it. Kindness, grenade themselves. Go for that 360 toss, and Kindness with the SK12.
Oh, that vault. Oh, what a shot. Just ahead.
There goes one hot juke. Cat God popping up with the MG3. Peppering away right here. There's one. Back to 1v1. Cartman down really low with the DB. And there goes Cat God for the win.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Titan Series Season 2, Week 3. I'm Taylor Reflections Noble. We got Mustache Dave, Enigma joining us, and of course, Neptura. Enigma, great to see you once again, brother. We've had 2 great weeks. We're now on week number 3, and Hyper's leading the charge, but you're back on the desk. How's everything going?
Loving it, of course. Right now, it's just crunch time on what these bottom teams are really doing. Because, we all love seeing the hype story of, and Hyper winning games or getting these frags.
That's
but
right.
I mean, we're at the point now where it's who's not making it. So, only time can tell what that's really going to show us.
Well said. Yeah, who's not making it, right? Because top 12 is where you want to be, and we've got 4 great teams. Wonderful teams who could very well break in. We take a look at our standings, though, and Dave, right? The bottom 4 teams, Dauntless. We got Mezexis, Execute, and Bope Esports all fighting to pass up Wanted Vigilantes. That's 38 points. That is at least a base. That is the floor that we're currently looking at, but that could change depending on the performance of Wanted or C4.
Yeah, that's a great point, and Neptura kind of touched on this with another squad before the break here, but I'm looking at Dauntless. This team is in the bottom, but last game, 7 elims, 1,500 damage done, and Neptura was talking about teams trying to build up their confidence. I feel like this last Miramar game was that game for Dauntless.
Sure. Yeah, well said. For Dauntless indeed. And hey, like you said, Neptura, right, going into game 3, the confidence is now built up. Dauntless has a real chance to break into that top 12, but they've got to take the bull by the horns. When we move into Sandhawk, though, based off Dauntless's performance in the past, do you think they have a real chance to go to top 12?
I think anything's possible in Sandhawk. You got a team that's getting all riled up. You got a team that's getting that confidence back, doing their thing. Sandhawk is the perfect map for them to really get that win ASAP with a lot of points as well. So anything's possible.
Anything's possible indeed. Sandhawk, that was in Hyper's playground, at least in week 1. Week 2, we didn't have Sandhawk, but it makes a return. Let's see who's going to end up taking it. Speaking of taking it, Dave, let's go for some predictions. Who you going for map 3?
Well, if YKG can keep mopping up Wanted Vigilantes, I'm really looking at Dauntless to get those 10 extra points needed to finally get within top 12.
Okay, all right. I like the pick. Enigma, what about you? First time on the desk for week 3.
I'm doubling up with Dave, Dauntless. I went with XQ last week on being the underdog that comes up, but Dauntless with that last game, getting those 7 elims is really, pushing me to pick them.
Okay, Dauntless rising up the ranks, not only in the standings, but also here on the desk. Neptura, are you also going with Dauntless?
I kind of want to go with Bope, but you know what? Nah, I'll be the triple thing. Maybe it won't curse them this time. Dauntless. I'll go with Dauntless.
Wow, 3 for Dauntless. Talk about the pressure for me. Who am I going to go for? Because it's like easy way out for Dauntless? Maybe so. No, I can't. I'm not going Dauntless. I mean, Dauntless is great.
Oh.
No, come on. That was a wonderful game. But like to win, I don't think they're going to win. But top 3, top 5, maybe for certain. Okay, for me, I'm going in Hyper this time around. I haven't gone for them today, but they've been on fire. They've already got 1 win. And Sandhawk was a map that they won in week 1. So for me, in Hyper is very well going to be that team. But Dauntless, hey, that's 3 against me. I'm okay with that. Let's see what happens. Let's move it to map 3, Sandhawk. Dave, Enigma, take it away.
Let's go. Game number 3. We got Dauntless on deck here. And hey, listen, the spicy pick and Hyper, 152 points. I get it. But 3 of us rooting for Dauntless here, Enigma. How you doing, man? Sandhawk, let's get it.
Doing good, a little cool out here the last few days where I'm at, but definitely been hot here in some of these games. I mean, that last game was something else with loops, a little slow for them at the start, but they really picked it up at the end, just sitting at their compound, wiped out N Hyper, which I thought was actually going to win the game from their position. And then Black Mamba, I believe it was, somehow being able to live to 2nd place. So, another team that moved up, I believe 1 placement from that 8th to 7th. Just off that 1 game alone. So, I mean, anything's possible with these close points.
anything's possible. In Hyper last game, almost 2k damage done, so they're going to be feeling it. But over here, looks like we got two teams looking to duke it out really early on, Execute being one of them. I see a horse and an Uzi here, Enigma. I'm getting a little scared, man.
Yeah, I mean, he ain't horsing around. God, don't hate me, please. But I mean, Xtreme Slayers, did they already lose a player? It looks like they did.
Looks like it.
So, I mean, Quan picking up the kill, but, I mean, anything's possible. This, like, Ruins, Temple, is just not... I've always hated fighting here. And I believe Hyper used to land here for the longest time, way back when they were Nova. Back when they were... I don't even think when they were Nova, but SBM taking early shots. It's gonna be... Oh, Robert getting aggressive.
Wow.
You taking an off angle on the outside, getting one, but trading it. Casper getting the finish, and I think it's just one player left. That was insanely quick.
Done. I mean,
not wasting time with that.
I know they just walked into those bullets actually right there. So shout out to them, Xtreme Slayers. They did get one flush out the mix, but that's it. They are done within the first 2 minutes right there. I don't think we'll see them hot drop again moving forward. But over here, looking at Loops with a duo. So it looks like Loops are in a little skirmish over here with Aton Esports. Looks like Aton do have all four up, looking to make a play, have this little river between the two squads. But I did see an Hyper down there in the distance, so we might have a third party here. Enigma, tell me your predictions. What happens? What unfolds here in this lockdown?
Well, I'm thinking Loops, you know, they hold their side of the river. Aton obviously tries to aggress, you know, getting the 2 early kills. It's a matter of if Aton pulls, you know, an Hyper from last game where you're looking for players and, you know, that one little player gets caught out, insta-thirsted. You don't want to really lose players at all on Sandhawk, especially early, because every body matters sort of thing. So I mean, Loops is one of those teams that can make the 2v4 happen if they get them caught out, like how they're playing. Because, I mean, look at them. Tiopa is like proning on a wall with an M4, and then Ayala, you know, has got basically the best setup in the game with the DBS M4. So, I mean, if Aton don't take their time with this, they're probably thinking, you know, they're either going to be in the back buildings upstairs, or they're going to just be holding a corner. So them playing outside of the building, I think, is really going to catch off Aton.
Yeah, and I love how the two Loops players have somewhat of a cover fire. They're going to be looking at each other as well. But here we go. You're talking about prone behind the wall. AKM, 30 bullets, lock and loaded. Now 4 opponents hunting you down.
I think they have a bit of an idea of
What's the idea?
Loops being here on this side. I think, you know, with Pioneer, the interesting thing is you could see it almost into 4 segments, and if you're holding that bridge side, you're able to basically cut off a corner of it and just trap Loops into this grid. So I think Aton's trying to figure it out, but they hear Ayala. This might be the bait play, though, from Ayala. He moved back, making noise. The player's still behind him, prone with an AK. I think it falls on if Ayala can get the first knock here and then have his teammate clutch up and get maybe a backstab with 2. Just a really interesting moment seeing how Loops players will try to play this.
Yeah, the backstab going to be critical, but it looks like this surprise from behind immediately spotted right there. So Ayala, the last one alive with the DBS, 12 slugs, now down to 9, ready to go. Trying to get the confirm.
Oh no.
We're going to get the quick turnaround, looking for the reload. 1 more bullet to go. Oh, couldn't get the reload off in time, and they just collapsed just like that. Meanwhile, in Hyper, in the hills, just watching as the mayhem unfolds over there.
Gotta be Caster's curse, Dave. I mean, Dauntless. I mean, they did get 2 on Intense Gaming, I believe, but losing a player in the process, I'd assume they're just trying to run up the hillside. We saw last week how powerful a position that was. I believe Hyper had, or maybe it was the first week on Sandhawk where they made that goat rotation down the mountain. You don't see that every day, but Dauntless. The goatation. I mean, we got the boatation, we got the car, we got the glider now.
We got it all.
I wish people would use the glider more. That was my favorite thing they've added to the game. See people up in the sky, you never expect it.
Molly. Great molly right there to flush home from behind that boulder, and that was huge because they were already pretty low in the health department. And looking behind at the duo that's still alive for Dauntless, they're pretty far back, so they weren't able to provide the needed support here. And like you said, the trio The trio caster curse, is it real? Well, it looks like we got a clean 2v2 right now here, Enigma.
Yeah, I mean, Skipper's up front. I'm not sure if they're even looking to take the fight. They might as well. They're one of those teams that's needing points. I believe Intense Gaming is in a safe enough spot where, if they flunked the last few games, they're not dropping out. But for them, they're obviously playing for those bonus points for at the end of the week and stuff like that. But Dauntless is, I mean, you kind of start to question like what the comms were almost. It'd almost be, beauty if we could get like internal like team comms. I think they had that at one point for one of the world leagues. They tried doing that. They also had map feeds too for each team. PUBG always trying to bring the best viewer experience for that sort of stuff. But Hyper rotated into Painan. All 4 players up. They do always love this rotation. They go through that western side of Painan, just in between Boot Camp and Painan. There's that bridge that kind of crosses the water. They rotate there. They go up the hill and then they go south. So it's always nice, interesting that teams don't try to exploit that yet. But I mean, hey, this is one of those teams where some people aren't comfortable taking those fights.
Definitely comes back to VOD review as well. It looks like on the edge of the west side of this circle, that fight that we were looking at here, the 2 duos that were locked and loaded. It looks like Dauntless and Intense. Finally something happening over here, but not going the way of Dauntless. Is now down to just a solo. Looking at the meds, pretty low. And
though.
yeah, going back to your point though. This could be it. One more. Can Skipper get the reload, land these shots? It's going to be taking a little bit of blue zone damage. Won't be hurting too much. Here we go. Out in the open, and Skipper getting it done right there with the celebration, unloading the clips right there. But at what cost? We lost the team. Yes, we got 4 points, and I guess on Sandhawk, that's equivalent to a 4th place finish, so that's pretty solid. But now down to just a solo. Man, Enigma, tell me from your experience, like, how does that shift the game plan here?
Well, I mean, back in the day, it was a lot of just, just try to snake it out. Pray you get zones in those later spots so you don't have to move in the open, because Sandhawk is essentially just flat. I mean, unless you're playing one of those mountain spots or one of the landmarks with names, it's really just a matter of if you get the zone or not. Do you have the utility? Most teams on this map don't get a car spawn. So you're essentially running it 24/7. And that's the issue with this map that a lot of teams face, is they're not comfortable making those on-foot rotations, whether it's going backwards into blue zone to tank damage, to not get shot. But I mean, we see like this, if we were able to see the map again, I'd noticed a lot of teams were hovering on that south side. And last week, it was a lot of just the hot 10 fight. We had 3 or 4 teams fighting over it. And with this, it kind of almost falls down onto the IGL of, okay, well, we're going to need to rotate in. We're seeing the map right now. I mean, the whole southeast side is completely open to rotates. But, oh my, Cucks just one-tapping him with the S12. Gets the finish on Quan, and I believe this is a 1v2 right now. Falling on a Casper. He does have 2 kills already, so it definitely is possible. He's warmed up a little bit, but not sure. He's got the level 1 gear. He's got the nades, but Aton, I think, has been too hot right now. I mean, they took out essentially one of the hottest teams in the lobby. They took out Loops at the start of it, so I don't think there's really another team that could be pressuring them to, make a mistake or, succumb to this 1v2.
Now here comes the blue as well. Both teams going to be holding out just a little longer. Aton with the duo up with the numbers advantage. They are aware that Casper is going to be right on the other side of this broken wall, because Casper already tossing out 2 of their grenades, kind of alerting them. Casper, UMP in hand. Buying some time. Here's the pin. Pull. Still not opting to make a move. Oh, it was a flash right there. Casper can't see nothing but the spray down. Wow. Taking them out right there. Oh, hold up. Was that the blue? How? I need to know. What happened? How the other player get taken out? GK first with a third party?
I think GK shot him in the back. I think he rotated on that outer wall there, but I was just about to note that too before he hit him with the flashbang. Didn't know we were playing a strategy game like that, but I mean, and Hyper, just now knows there's 1 player left in the compound. Are they going to hold out and go for that extra point? They already have enough, but, are they trying to play the correct way? Are they trying to play a little bit more fluid? But, I mean, YK Chief, one of those teams that I'm a huge fan of now. Not only with how Joey played last week, but they brought Seagut back.
There we go.
Seagut, the godfather of the DVS shotgun S12K. When that gun was released, he was the only competitive player to use it, and he was smoking people with it, like how we see today with people hitting, 1v2s, 1v3s with it. And, hopefully I'd like to see some more clips out of him coming back. Maybe get a little bit of rust off of him, but I mean, he's definitely one of those players that was a community favorite. He was on Lights Out and stuff. Then he was on Tribe. A lot of recognition as a player. I believe we were almost going to have him on Wildcard as well, but unfortunately it didn't happen. A lot of background lore, sort of say. What could have been. A lot of heads and names that could be named there, but, that's always for another time.
Now Seagut prone in a bush, trying to set a trap right there as Joey looking for an off angle over here. Looking to probably get the initial knock and maybe even a collapse here as the next play zone did shift. Now we can't discount Black Mamba down there to the south of both these teams as well. You might opt to get involved here very shortly, but yeah, I mean, I'm still at shock right there from Casper's random spray down while being flashed. Still coming out on top. Yeah, we had the help from Hyper GK first, but regardless, still very impressive there from Casper and Execute. And we just got word from Nepturia, still believing in Dauntless to get the winner chicken dinner. You'll love to see it. And talking about loving to see something, One Shot Esports NA now fully aware of YKG.
Yeah, and I mean, Joey moved up too, so it's really just an issue of, like, are we able to spot these snakes in the grass, or are we going to get bit in the ankles? And, all of them are prone and out. We see Hyper just to the east too. There's a reason why they're prone, so they don't get, their heads blown off over rocks and stuff like that. YKG, I'm not too sure. Joey went back onto the hillside to try to give cover, but I think he just gets it. He's like, yeah, there's no way they're going to peek me. We're going to just have to somehow clear them out on the next zone, or just try to get in front of them almost and shoot them while they run in.
Joey definitely working with a lot of room here, pretty much for free, like you're saying, as One Shot not really moving yet. Here comes Joey, trying to test the waters just a little bit with the buggy. Nice little dino skin, too, on that buggy. YKG, you could tell they are thirsty, man. They are hungry. They want to take this fight, but they don't want to overextend and get third-partied in the process.
Yeah, I think them and Hyper are the two closest teams that show that almost like, South American aggression almost with teams like Loops, Aton, where, they're looking for an ox. If they're 3 players up, they can get a 4-man squad wipe. But as we're saying, is Chico getting the opening on a taste there, I believe, and Hyper had knocked. Yeah, they had knocked a one-shot player as well in the back, so it's really just 2 players up right now for One Shot Esports.
Looks like Peep going fishing here with some grenades, trying to land 1 or 2. It looks like a little bit of it will touch Chico, but Chico quickly healing up right there. One Shot, trying to use these bushes for cover, trying to play the sneaky snake here on Sandhawk. Looks like both of the players are doing the same thing. Joey's still on the outside here, trying to get the off angle, just trying to thread that needle without overextending so Black Mamba sees him, or even Hyper. But I can only imagine the intel right now that Joey's just allowing their team to have here. Just keeps flowing as Peep still out here trying to make some moves happen. Peep is going to be spotted from that off angle from Joey. And now here comes the full collapse to seal the deal.
Yeah, and I mean, with Joey, too, with the knock, it's like, he didn't give up on looking for it. It took him a bit of time, but, I mean, YKG now have the entrance they need in the zone. They don't have to worry about that south side at all. They can make the rotation. The only thing they have to worry about is Hyper and Jaguar to their south and north.
And talking about worrying about something, C4, 4 limbs right now. They are right on top of Black Mamba. Ghoul trying to cook a grenade, cooking it to perfection, looking to toss that through the window there and maybe get a double knock because the duo from Black Mamba on that side, they are right next to each other. Here comes Ghoul on the outskirts here. It looks like Black Mamba have a 2-2 split going on as well. Ricochet. Oh, cooked too much.
I think he ran into the shack. I think there's a little bit of like a little hidey cubby there. Yeah, Bishop's in it. Poppy, has the nade. He's trying to kind of bait him almost by moving back and forth with Bishop, but I think C4 is a little bit worried about the Hyper plan. I mean, we saw Hyper with the Aton fight against Execute. The third party central up the hill. I know that there we go. Not on this fight, but GK getting the opening on a YKG down the mountain. They could almost even execute onto that. How spread YKG is, but Skirt pushing in. Bishop's 1 HP. I think he's gonna get the heal off Poppy. They don't know where he's at still. Gets one. The AK spray. Gets the headshot.
The double. The double. C4.
Wow.
Too thirsty. Beautiful cover fire right there from Black Mamba, but it's not done yet. Bishop with the spray down.
Wow.
Taking him out here, and we'll be able to get the revive.
And you know, I gotta really question the C4 player after his first teammate had been knocked in the back, because he ran in, made the 90-degree turn to shoot him in the side, and missed the shot, I think, on a player that wasn't moving. So he's definitely, you know, punching himself over that one, ultimately resulting in them probably losing that fight. But YKG having to make this track. It's just Chico, unfortunately. Or I guess Seagate is up as well, looking like he's knocked at 1 HP. All the kills spread out, and Hyper. Looks like he can be able to get the reset, but I think it's just too big of a gap for YKG to really try to push this and stop these reses from happening.
Yeah, it looks like coming up on the tail end of a nasty fight right now between two dominators in the lobby. It looks like YKG were able to pull back just a little bit. Dr. Koi looking to still flush him out just for that safety, and Shifan should be able to get picked up. So Hyper currently with 5 elims, 1,400 damage done. YKG 4 elims with 730 damage done. So YKG losing one out the mix there, so they will be down a squad mate. As we mentioned, they're gonna be pulling back with the zone to their backs here, where they just came from, so they know it's gonna be safe over here.
Well, you know, they do have a car, so it's kind of nice. And I was thinking GK was going to do this at the start, but instead he grabbed the buggy and made the rotation. YKG had actually left this hillside pretty early to let Hyper almost just, you know, constrict them like a snake, you know, trying to just live it out to the next zone and maybe make the rotation, but Hyper's like, no, we're not going to let you do that. Chico, though, getting the knock on Kindness. That was the player on the off angle. It's just all 3 players, but oh my goodness. Getting smoked out of the car. Joey beaming him. YKG losing Seagut right now at the compound. Going for the thirst. Oh, Hot Cheeks' favorite gun.
Trying to get that thirst right there. Looks like Seagut is going to be bleeding out just a little bit. But Chico with the DBS, I mean, talking about the swivel right there, the full gyro to be able to get the shot off on the moving target in the buggy. That is impressive. Next circle goes up. Looks like Hyper right there on the edge. Shifan seeing a head out there in the distance, instantly lasering Legend right there. Now it's up to Joey, though. Still alive for YKG because Chico was spotted in the process. And Joey clutched this out. Has an idea. Shifan. Oh, we see Shifan. Joey knows. Looking for that lean peek here. Shifan with the UMP. Joey with the M4. Shifan in the wide open Enigma. Getting taken out from Joey.
Trying to get the pre-fire, but, you know, just didn't work out. I was really happy that Joey didn't initially peek there. He kind of understands, you know, he's baiting for a shot. And unfortunately, you know, for Hyper, just kind of just crumbled in front of him. Even with the knock on Bope, it's just you up, you're stuck on a rock. And like last game, you know, I believe Zfon was the player that was Overwatch. He's not the one getting in the car and driving and making that aggressive play. He's the one that's going to be edge zone, maybe getting the opening and then getting traded himself, but allowing his team to get in. So Bope coming in for the third party, putting that to a halt. YKG able to hit the shots on the buggy player. That was a really nice spray by Joey, getting the knock. And unfortunately, you know, YKG losing 2 players, but that's a win in their books. You know, top 4. They're already at 7 elims. It's more just, can Joey pick up a few more and just put them into that top 3?
Definitely a big chillin' over here. And looks like Dauntless, they were able to get 6 points here in this match. So that is going to keep them afloat moving forward. But talking about keeping other teams afloat, YKG, yeah, sure, 70 limbs, that's phenomenal. Still a solo, but this is a huge game, a come-up opportunity for Mezexis, who are in 14th place, and Bope, who are in 16th place here. And I just got to say, Neptura was going to call Bope for that winner chicken dinner, but the peer pressure got the best of her, picking our squad, Dauntless. I'm pointing it out because Bope still 4 alive here. They could definitely get this winner chicken dinner.
Yeah, I think it was just a matter of how they try to rotate into this next zone. They're going to essentially have to work into Mezexis. It looks like they might try to just work west, come down from underneath them and try to take over the mountaintop. there's nothing really for them to play in that bottom little valley, so to speak. So Bope having to really make this play, but I mean, this could be huge for them. The only team, we'd like to see up there is Execute as well. Unfortunately, they went out early, but Joey getting sprayed down, coming in from blue. Bope picking up the kill though, at least. But oh, elbow sticking out. I'm not needing to
Gotta
tuck
watch out.
that in. A little
Gotta
chicken
watch
wing
out.
action going on or something there. I'm not sure.
And
So this-
Joey kind of helping Bope just a little bit, taking out tempo right before getting thirsted themselves here. But the thing is, I'm looking at Bope uphill. They are just grouped up on this tree and this boulder, and Black Mamba looking right at them. So really cares to see what Bope can do. Oh, that's what they can do. This is exactly what they need to do. Clear out that angle. Got the quick thirst right there, too. And there goes Black Mamba. Another solid game from them, by the way. Third place. So look at this. We got the 14th and the 16th place teams now competing it out for the winner chicken dinner here in match number 11. 2 up for Mezexis. Netflix trying to chill out there in the open behind the tree with the pre-fire here. Bope still with the high ground. And 3 alive, Enigma.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see Bope get a little aggressive. They know which trees they're on of all things. They have a few rocks in play in front of them. Looks like they can't make that cross down, but throw a nade, some sort of util needs to be coming out right now from Bope. Letting him get that reset, I think, is way too much time. Because now it's essentially, who's going to be moving first off their cover. Bope probably has to leave a little bit later than them, but Mezexis losing both players.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
We're going to need the...
Oh, the chicken wings, like you said. The chicken wings. Netflix, the last one alive. The arms peeking behind the tree right there. We're in winner, chicken dinner. Going towards Bope.
Yeah, chicken wing, just a little too much. I already had dinner, but, at least Bope got the chicken winner off that. Guess it is what it is.
Dead last. Enigma coming in this game. So honestly, replay. We need an instant replay of the chicken wing right there. There it is. That's what Netflix was doing right there in the end. Let's bring back the desk here because things are definitely heating up now that the bottom teams are getting some points here.
Yeah, all 4 teams doing quite well. The big key takeaway is we've been putting the storyline and pressure on Wanted Vigilantes who need to hold on to that top 12 position. They're in 12th place. Unfortunately, in Game 3, they get 0 points, right? So not the best finish that they were wanting. However, for Bope Esports, for Execute, Mezexis, Dauntless, they all rack up some points. Do they pass Wanted Vigilantes? I don't think so, at least as of yet. But they're definitely at the much better spot going into game number 4. So things start to get quite scary for Wanted Vigilantes if they want to place in the top 12. Now, going to you, Neptura, I hate to say it, Dave did bring it up. You almost went with Bope, but you fell in. You went for Dauntless, who, to their credit, right? That solo almost looking special at a certain point in time. But Bope Esports, they get a W for the first time in Season 2.
They really do. They do. And it's such a great thing to see. They are a last place team at the moment, which is a really weird thing to be saying because last season they were so dominant. But, you always have to go with your gut when you come to predictions. And just something was like, you do really well on Sandhawk. Usually we see them be, the king of the jungles and you better go with them this time. But I didn't because Dauntless and the trio, the trio prediction was just too tantalizing. But yeah, it's really nice to see Bope end up getting that win very, very well. And a really nice win as well. I mean, I do agree with Enigma there that they could have been a little bit more aggressive, but at the end of the day, they didn't have to because the zone did all that aggression for them. So big GG's going their way.
Yeah, the zone seemed pretty brutal, Enigma. I mean, even in the final moments, almost claiming some lives in our top 3 teams.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to need, at the end of the tournament, we're going to need that play zone, KD, some sort of graphic made or something, because that man is top fragging in every lobby. No one is safe. No one is safe.
That's right. You'll never beat the zone, dude, no matter how hard you try. You continue to heal, but at the end of the day, it's going to claim your life once it's all said and done. But that's the bottom 4 teams anyways that we covered. And like I said, things start to get a little bit shaky for Wanted Vigilantes. But going into game number 4, though, Bope Esports looking a lot scarier, Dave. Mezexis also looking great in Hyper. top 5, right? Even though top 5, they get 10 points, so they continue to remain consistent and racking up multiple points. And not a lot of teams are doing that.
No, I mean, and Hyper, they're just out here farming, you know, getting ready for next season, making sure the corn is knee high and all that good stuff, because almost 2K damage once again on that Sandhawk map. So they're dominating. You know, they've been dominating here, and they're just going to continue. So I'm really looking at like other teams, like who are the contenders, right, to end Hyper. Now, maybe not this season, but I'm talking about like the finals, you know, like who is going to be able to put up a good fight up against end Hyper. That's what I'm looking at here.
162 points. That is nutty to say the least, Neptura, and we're going to give them their flowers, of course, at the end of the broadcast. Nobody's catching them yet, but let's look at 12th and 13th place, and let's even throw in Bope and Dauntless, right?
Yeah.
So from 34 to 40 points, that is 6-point difference. 12th place at this point in time, Neptura, is not guaranteed for any of those 4 rosters. Execute, maybe they can hop in, but they're still a little bit far away. So 12 through 15, that's a tight point gap.
It really is, and I think teams that feel fairly safe at the moment, like C4, definitely gonna be a little bit skeptical now of how secure their going through is. You know, those teams, they've been doing some really good work in the last couple of games. They're putting all that effort in because it is the last chance they have this season, and that's looking scary for those teams in the bottom half of the top 12.
Yeah, looking scary indeed. And even for those bonus points, you want to be in top 8. C4 currently number 9, Dave, and a chance to potentially catch Xtreme Slayers. It's absolutely within their grasp. Just a 5-point difference between those. So whether it's for bonus points or it's for top 12, Dave, we've got a tight race.
Yeah, we definitely do. And listen, I know Dauntless didn't get the win that game. All right, I get it. And, you know, Bope getting that win is going to set them apart just a little bit heading into this final map. But I'm staying with Dauntless, man. I picked Dauntless in game 2, in game 3. I'm picking them for game 4. I still believe here. I believe.
Hey, believe all you want, baby. Dauntless, they're starting to make some moves, and I can't argue. They've been consistent throughout the previous maps. Let's see if they can lock it in for map number 4, Neptura. Map 3, though, it is done and dusted. We're about to hop into map 4, but let's recap a little bit further some special moments that happened in map 3.
I just want to have this one moment in particular. You know, Black Mamba did a great job here. C4, my dudes, I love you. What are you doing? What's happening? You know, tell me. But this bit in particular, you know, I almost want to suggest that this may have been a little bit of a bait move. You know, you get that one, you got it, your guy in the corner, you get that knock, and then your buddy comes in for the backstab. I mean, it's just such a really, really nice play. Honestly, C4 should have seen that one coming, but they didn't, unfortunately for them. And, you know, Black Mamba gets the job done as a duo. It's just such a great move. I just had to see it again. I love that play.
Dude, Black Mamba, man. Black Mamba is really impressive. You know, there was a big storyline I wanted to make from, or at least about them in week 1 being, you know, that fresh challenger team entering into the Titan series for the first time. I got to be honest, though, week 1, they really fell flat. I didn't see anything special at all. And I'm like, man, these guys from challenger now into the Titan series, clearly they're not adjusting well. But last week, hey, they got better. This week, definitely the standout week for Black Mamba. They're really coming into their own and showing that they're very comfortable when it comes to the Titan series, and I love to see that. So there is a new challenger approaching, and they are looking very, very scary. Enigma, we're now hopping into map number 1, at least going back to where we started. We're now going to Erangel, a map that just a little bit earlier in Hyper started off strong. They had 7 eliminations, 1,500 damage on top of that first place. We go back to that point, but I want to focus the conversation into Wanted Vigilantes, who's trying to hold on to 12th place, right, to qualify, to move on. They placed 6th, and they ended up racking up 5 points. For the other 4 teams, they didn't have the best of performances. So as we head back into Erangel, what do we think the chances are for Wanted Vigilantes?
It's more of a 50-50 in my book. I mean, I've been in that position where, one placement could mean the difference between you moving on and whatnot. For them, they have to worry about 3 other teams, keeping track of them in the kill feed. It's not an easy thing to do when you're under that sort of pressure on top of, trying to execute plays and stuff like that. But for these other 3 teams, they have nothing to lose. If they see you in the feed and they're, that 3 to 4 point gap, if they wipe you, they're moving on. You're dropped. So
That's
for
right.
them, it's a lot of pressure of just trying to stay alive, keeping spaced out from people, and not giving away info early in the kill feed unless it's you getting kills.
Yeah, pressure, Dave, is a real thing, right? Amongst competitions, whether it be Titan Series, PNPL, like that pressure hits really different. What is your advice, right, to some competitors heading in? They're in a tight spot. They know this game is really do or die for them.
Yeah, and we're talking about wanted vigilantes. I'm the coach, not really, but in this scenario, I'm in the locker room with them. We had 2 back-to-back horrible games, and what I'm going to tell them, hey, forget about those games. They didn't happen, because you know why? We got 1 more game to go. We just need to make sure to get a couple points, just a little more than Mezexis, then Bope, then Dauntless, and then we are moving on to that next round and not getting bumped down to the Challenger Finals. So forget about the horrible games where, you loaded in after waiting 10 minutes to get the lobby ready and you dropped on the plane and then you died in 30 seconds. Forget about that. Forget that you dropped and there was no loot, there was no DBS. Just don't worry about it. It didn't happen. 1 more game to go here. That's all that matters.
Dave, I love that you just coach them, but you also were like, forget about it, but you're also reminding them about every single bad thing that's happened today. Like, yeah, you died within 30 seconds. You had a terrible 2 maps, but you don't forget about it. Don't also, though, remember whenever you made that bad play, forget about it.
It's gonna happen.
Dave, hey, but that's Coach Dave coming out. He wants the best for everybody. Let's do some quick predictions. Neptura, starting off with you once again. Who you going for?
Black Mamba. I think that's probably a fairly safe bet. They've been really consistent so far tonight. Are they going to get the win? Maybe. They're not really... No, you know what? I'm not going to convince myself otherwise. I'm going Black Mamba because they've been really consistent. Yeah, I'm just going to... Anything I'm going to say is actually just going to convince. Because they've been second place.
Look, I like it because you were going with Bope, right? And you would have got that victory. It would have been right.
True.
But you convinced yourself otherwise. So just stay Black Mamba. They got second place in map 1, right behind in Hyper. They had a great moment, a chance to take first place. They felt
that is
a little
true.
flat, but
you know what?
But they were close. They were close. So Black Mamba, a solid pick. Enigma, who you going for and why?
Cinderella story, baby. I'm going with Bope. Back to back from bottom of the fish barrel, moving up. They're going to be passing into that top 12. They're going to be pulling through, I think.
Okay. Look, not a bad pick, I suppose. Bope, a great map number 3. Can they do it in map 4? What did they get in map 1? So they got 13th place starting off the day. So you're thinking 13th and 1th on Arengale. Okay, that's a bold prediction. Dave, though, you were coach wanted Vigilantes.
Yeah,
all right,
yeah,
are you sticking by their side or you going someone else?
Yeah, I mean, I still want to go with Dauntless, but, since I am the coach of wanted Vigilantes, I feel like my own team would be a little upset if I didn't pick them to get the final win. So I'm just going to be like, hey, team, listen, YKG game 2, they hot dropped you. Let's show them what we're about. Let's hot drop them here this game and take them out, bada boom, bada bang. So I'm going with wanted Vigilantes here.
I love that. And I thought you were going to go back into Coach Dave and be like, you know what, Wanted Vigilantes, I'm not predicting you to win map 4, but don't let that affect you. Forget about that and start fresh in map 4. All right. Hey, I like it. So Wanted Vigilantes, hey, WV Dave. That's what we're going to say. And you know what?
Yeah.
Hey, Neptura, Coach Dave coming out big. I love it. Hey, have some fun here. For me, I'm going in Hyper. All right, I'm going in Hyper. Hey, I'm going in Hyper. I feel like, look, you guys are going Wanted Vigilantes. I hear you, But that's a stretch. You know, you're going over here with Bope. That's a stretch. Dauntless, okay. But like for me, I gotta go in Hyper because consistency is key. Well, map 4, it comes down to this. Who's gonna break into top 12? Who's gonna break into top 8? A lot on the line. And we've got 16 great teams ready to settle the score. Let's hop into map number 4. It's gonna be Aaron Gale, and to call all the wonderful action, it's gonna be PB and Enigma. Boys, take it away.
I'm back. Thank you so much, Reflections, for the throw. We are getting into the final game of qualifiers for the Premier Division of Season 2 of the Titan Series. I haven't made my prediction just yet, and I'm looking squarely at YKG to take home gold on this one and eat that chicken dinner. I'm liking the resurgence. They started quiet so far in the Titan Series, but they're up to second place. I'm liking what I'm seeing from them. Enigma, am I crazy, or does YKG have a shot here?
I don't want to say, it's because they shot up the second. I think it's more, you're a big fan of Seagut maybe or something. I'm not too sure. That's kind of my ticket with that sense. But no, they've for sure been popping off lately. But, if we look at the points, Hyper's needing 1 kill to get into that 100 mark, that 3 digits for the kills. No one's even close to that. YKG's, 64 total, but they're not wiping half the lobby to get to 100. So, and Hyper,
you pointed out something interesting there. One elim away from 100 points. There is not a single other team in the lobby that even has 100 points yet. Rank points combined with that. That's how much Hyper is completely dominating this lobby. They'll have something to say about it, I'm sure, this time around as well. But I'm really curious, man. It's tightened up a lot at the bottom of the tables, and I think it's really anyone's game between Wanted Vigilantes, Mezexis, Bope, Dauntless, and Execute. Execute has to be happy with the circle that they've just been given, as they're a North George dropping team. And you can see they've got that whole Zarky spot on lockdown up there. So I'm liking the circle position for them. But what else are you seeing here?
Well, I'm seeing someone get beamed out of the sky, but back to the main point, I'm surprised no one had actually decided to drop on Execute. Maybe they don't see them as a threat, but these other teams, Dauntless, Bope, Mezexis, in that, losing contention range, if someone drops on, let's say, Hyper, and they don't want a specific team in the lobby, whether it's because they just counter their rotations or they just choose to drop on them on Miramar, whatever the case may be, would love to see them start to target some of these teams and really just prevent them from moving on. But Sligo getting smoked by Mythic with an S12K. 2 down already off rip, not looking that good. And these are one of those teams where if those bottom 4 do end up all, popping off and even going into that, 10th to 12th place on the leaderboard, they could potentially get dropped out. Now, do I think that's going to happen? No, not really. And Hyper, YKG, Loops being teams that have been getting points, been preventing other teams from actually getting into that 10 to 15 point range to make multiple upsets happen in this last game.
Dude, I'm a little sad. It's down to 60 players, which means that it is now confirmed that Hyper will clinch first place. I was thinking YKG might drop 60 and take the chicken dinner here and come back. But that is now mathematically impossible. So, Hyper, congrats on the qualifier victory and the 10 bonus points. You're looking solid. 2 thumbs up from PB here. But Loops off to a great start today. I had a feeling they might be on to a big day coming into this week 3 action. So far, Loops has been the one team that's been invited to this that really hasn't performed to their standards. It's not like they've been bad by any means. They're sitting in the middle of the table.
For sure.
They just haven't been Loops.
Yeah, and Loops, it's just a little, a bit of a double-edged sword with having that sort of notoriety and stuff like that. We've seen it with a lot of teams and regions, and Hyper, the old Ghost Gaming roster. You expect them to be in that top 3 placement, to be winning these disadvantageous fights, whether it's 3v4, 2v4, and Loops is one of those teams that consistently is able to pull that off, whether they're a man down or whatnot. But if we look at the Miramar match that they won, they were, I believe, all 4 players up going into that last zone and winning it. A little bit of a change from them having those 3 players up, winning those 3v4s, 2v2s, any of that sort of stuff. But I think
are we seeing a trap?
We are at the bridge. We have,
or it could be just like free loot, basically, because this circle is very far away from the direction that One Shot is driving right now. I thought at first they might be waiting on Mezexis to rotate out of Novo, but it appears that is not the case, and they're just going to drive on by, perhaps get some nice, easy loot at military and come into this zone stacked. But who knows what's going through their mind? I don't, that's for sure. But another thing about loops, they're probably the furthest people away from the actual server where the game's being played as well. That could have something to do with it. Hard to say, though, because 3 of the other teams are actually ahead of them in the standings. It's not affecting Aton and Jaguar and Intense Game as much.
Yeah, and Hyper can be thrown in that too, having a few international players on
That's
their
true.
roster. But I think with that, there comes a point where it's some plays are, you take a peek, someone just desyncs you, it happens, you understand, you don't let that mentally get to you. But some plays are just, that person made a good play. It wouldn't matter if you're on 500 ping, if you're trying to hit that 180 spray like we saw Miramar with one of the YKG members, like you're not doing that every game. I'm sorry to break it to you. And loops, they do it a lot more than most people, but it just comes into the play of, there's just some zones, some plays where it's just, you'd almost have to do the whole entire game over again and play it out. And I think that's something that a lot of teams mentally have a block on, is when they go into games and it gets to these later games, it's, oh my goodness, like we're just getting really unlucky and stuff like that, or we're making, maybe it's one peak angle play that's getting caught out and resulting in you getting pushed and losing the fight. That's all being said and done, but when it comes to rotations and stuff like that and how the zone plays out, sometimes it's just better to be, okay, we just didn't read it well, we couldn't play it well, and we put ourselves in spots that wouldn't let us get our next foot into the door.
Absolutely. I like the Bope pick from you. That was a solid back-to-backer there. Come off with a victory in Game 3 here today, and I'm liking them to maybe repeat as well. Get a bit of momentum going. Again, it's just been a little bit of a slump almost from them, because they just certainly have not performed to this level at any point in the last few months. And this tournament's been a bit of a shocker so far for Bope, but glad to see them get on the right track here last game, picking up that win on Sandhawk.
Yeah, shocker indeed. A lot of these teams, for me, it's execute coming into that hat in the mix.
Yep.
And Hyper, of course, not on the bad end of the stick, but, shocking everyone in a really terrific way of having those elimination points, those ranked points. I mean, even looking at it again, going back to it, almost double the next team's second place in rank points, essentially. So for them, it's just, they're blowing everyone out of the water. Good from them. And Hot Jukes, he had stated at the beginning of the cast on the very first day, and Hyper might possibly, be in a mental slump after that, second place, and PMPL America's not being able to finish first and that sort of stuff. But for them, I mean, it looks like they're out for blood right now.
Absolutely. Interesting circle once again here on Erangel. Second time today it's kind of gone towards that northern island as well. So you see some interesting rotations here. Chiffon and crew opting to stop on the southern side here. Razak Hill looking down into the city, trying to get some intel. I wonder how seriously they're taking it at this point versus trying to get some elams. They seem to be a team that is pretty disciplined though, and it always takes games seriously. But yeah, I'm wondering why they have diverted from their usual move hella early and secure central zone position. They have not opted to do that this time around. But Black Mamba in the way right now.
Yeah, I think for them, it's just a matter of maybe we try something new. Maybe we know that Black Mamba chooses to take this early fight, and Nova, or I guess Hyper, is one of those teams that is willing to be, okay, let's fight this team because we know we can win it, or we should win this fight. Now, like with some of these lower end teams, that's, I think, every top 4, top 5 team's mindset is, if we knock someone, we get the thirst, and we know it's this team, we can capitalize on that because you're feeling yourself, whatever the reason may be. You get 2 knocks. It's just all stuff. But Dauntless holding a very interesting compound. I never liked this compound early on because when I had played in China, we were playing scrims, and one of the Chinese teams absolutely obliterated us at this compound when we were holding it. So a little bit of PTSD
I think I have one or
from
two
me,
bad memories here as well.
A little bit of PTSD kicking in, but I mean, we're looking at the map, top right, a little bit of teams on the edge, Aton at the top right of the zone, northeast side, Jaguar coming in from the south, and we still have some people, eating the blue zone. Hopefully they don't give more kills over to it, but I doubt that really happens.
Absolutely.
We're only in the first zone or 2. Nothing crazy.
You see the hard shift coming back, though, to the southern island. It looks like may have paid off for Hyper to stay south. Everyone else trying to rotate back. Ruins looking to be kind of central right now, and Wanted Vigilantes chilling in a great spot here as everybody's rotating in. I do want to shout out Black Mamba, though, for their performance today. They've kind of flown a bit under the radar, but I mean, 2 second place and a 3rd place. Top 3 in every game so far today. Black Mamba has surprised me. I don't know if they've been surprising those in the chat or others on the desk, but, you know, impressive stuff from them so far with their consistent placement.
Yeah, and I think the main thing is, you know, everyone likes, you know, remembering the winner, but 2nd and 3rd place doesn't like they don't get points as well. So for them, I think it's, you know, if they're able to finish in that top 3 placement on the day, that could possibly make them pass Aton Esports. They have a 10-point gap currently from 5th to 4th. And, you know, obviously in the grand scheme of things, it might not matter a lot. But going into that finals play with bonus points, every point counts. And we've seen with PMPL NA where, you know, the Panthers had somehow made that 20-30 point gap to finish first until, you know, their disqualification with stuff. But those points, you know, really do add up. And with these sorts of tournaments and stuff like that, you're not wanting to finish 12th, 11th, 10th where you're not getting any. You're wanting to be in that top 8.
Absolutely. Every point counts, and every position on the leaderboard above that 8th place is worth more and more bonus points. Things starting to heat up here at Watertown. 3 squads circling. We got Daddy Payne from C4 there, just trying to hide out and stay alive. The lone remaining member of C4 trying to avoid detection here. Black Mamba has asserted their dominance and taken down 24K of YKG. That opens the fight here. We'll see if 24K can get picked up. Looks like he does have a bit of support. But angles here from 7777777. And oh, he got the hit marker on the last shot. He's going to go back.
Underneath it, I think that's a car. I'm not sure what that is he's on, but some sort of cover. But I'm not sure how 24K gets knocked there. Joey was the one in a buggy, lost both tires. Surprised there wasn't a little taxi, you know, saving Private Ryan moment from Seagut, who was in his own buggy, to pick him up and scoop him.
It was the buggy that was providing cover. You saw him get knocked out by an explosion there. So 24K out of here. YKG loses 1.
Yeah, and they're just all over the place. They have, or I guess they had a decent spot going into the zone shift now. You know, everyone's going to be fighting over these hill spots. We're going to see a lot of people, I think, just send it almost into the water if they're holding the edge and try to play that little bit of a lip that's there along the river on that south side. But Bope having to take a fight with Jaguar. Bope, the team, you know, I'm praying it goes well. They've already lost 1, but it's 3 of them. I'm not sure if they're looking to just rotate out. It looks like 2 of them are in cars trying to just dip. Shots on Mercy. Almost getting
interesting from both sides.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of they're debating on, you know, do we want to take this fight? Do we want to just take the little driving around, a little sunset drive? But, I mean, Rosa getting caught out. That's not what you're wanting.
Oh, no, Seagut had to bail from the car and got knocked in the process. YKG getting shredded over there. My pick not doing so hot right now. YKG on the last legs there. Chico fighting back against Frady. And Jaguar, though, I got to say, they have been a tough out, especially when they have that high ground. As we take a peek over here at the Xtreme Slayers, joining the fight against Chico. That's a good nade, just a bit high. Chico is just counting the seconds here before YKG is eliminated. They are out with 0 points in 16th place. And that's not great for YKG, but, you know, I don't think they had a whole lot of chance at taking over first place. So for now, they're second. They got to hold off the likes of the Jaguar, who entered the game only 7 points behind, so we'll keep an eye on them as they have put up 2 already.
Yeah, I think you're just a reverse prophet at this point, PB. A lot of picks are choosing.
Bro, I'm impressive, am I not?
I mean, I'd almost be paying you to just give me the name of, like, you know, is my team going down, or is it someone else that's at the top of the leaderboard? Do I even have to worry about that later on? But I'm not sure.
Your idea, not mine, but my PayPal for anybody that's, you know, curious.
Twitter, DMs open.
Joking. Dude, it's been unreal. I mean, last season, like, if you look at the season 1 of Titan Series, super accurate with my picks. This season, couldn't be farther from accurate. It's the most accurate inaccuracy I've ever seen. I don't know what's going on, but it's an impressive curse that I've got going on here.
You win some and you lose some, but I mean, accuracy is one thing, because one shot while we were talking, getting 3-pieced out of a Dacia, just instantly out. So one of those teams that is essentially safe, maybe not, depending if these lower teams decide to really pop off and get some kills to boost them up with the placement. But unfortunately for them, you know, being out 15th with 0 kills.
Jaguar in a bit of trouble. They're going to try to get to zone here. They really want this second place. I can feel it, man. And Jaguar's been playing good, and they're into it now with Bope. Bope has to win this fight, and, well, let's just say they don't. Bope will be going to the Challenger Finals and fighting their way through it. Wish them the best of luck. But now it's a door wide open for some of the other teams like Mezexis, like Dauntless. Mezexis, though, off to a great start. 4 elims right now. And you love the way they've kind of kicked things off in this one.
Yeah, and the zone, you know, is actually kind of favoring them. A lot of people don't like playing edge, but if you get a zone shift like this where it's almost the white touching the blue, the white part of the zone, you're going to be loving it. Because them right now, they're able to move up that east side if they need to, hold that whole entire field, free pickings for kills. Loops, I believe, holding the 1 stacks just north of them that are the yellow 1 stacks. A lot of people are going to be fighting over this Ruins position. Definitely not my cup of tea and choices of where to play, but, you know, you get what you take, I guess.
Absolutely. I'm curious to know how one of Vigilantes' loot is doing, to be quite honest. I saw one of the players with only 111 rounds of ammo, and they've been chilling at Ruins for like 3 circles now. So they got there early, and they've just been hanging out. And it'll be difficult for them to loot any bodies unless somebody crashes them, which I don't think is super likely unless this really centers up. But now we've got the Xtreme Slayers getting into it with Loops, and they make quick work of a few players. Chief waddles away, trying to get picked up. Incoming nades, though, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, they have the 3's the magic number, but it's just down to 1 now. Apex getting... Oh my goodness, that's so sad. Ayala getting... Or Atex getting the last player on Xtreme Slayers, but Intense Gaming getting the last bullet to wipe essentially both teams. This is just a hole on the map now for any team to drive in and pick up. Now, obviously, there are the cars there. People might think there's players there, but if you're Intense Gaming, I mean, you might just be taking that spot. So much free real estate off of just 1 kill if you're paying attention to the kill feed. But Aton having to really work with nothing here with 1 rock. The players are starting to try to like fan out on this hillside, but Black Mamba, I think they know. They're like, we gotta just take the top of this, get over them, don't let them crest the hill. Aton being able to pull up is going to essentially be, I believe, a 4v4 fight on the hill.
Look at this. He's in hot pursuit, man. I thought they were going to just chase him.
A little cops and robbers action.
Yeah. Why not?
Cat God, or I guess Pickle God, the Miramar game earlier. Aton, you know, thankfully for each of these teams, they're thinking, you know, at least we got out. They're not chasing. Let's just try to reset, go into the next zone, and see where in the heck we're needing to go, because I'm feeling this next zone shift is not going to be pretty for most teams.
Absolutely not. So let's take quick stock of the situation right now. We've got 11 teams still in it. A few of the teams needing points here to move on. We got Wanted Vigilantes coming into the game sitting in 12th spot. They don't have any points yet, but they got all 4 players alive. Good for them, right? And Hyper is out of here. You know, unfortunately for them, they're still going to end up in first place by a mile. That's fine. C4 out of here as well. Less points on the board. But I'm looking at Mezexis and Black Mamba right now. A couple of points to each of them. Mezexis, though, they need those points, right? They're sitting 1 spot out of moving on. So they've got to build that momentum. They're sitting only 3 points behind.
Well, I mean, I'm going to have to throw it into execute, even though they are, you know, that essentially 14-point gap with this zone shift. If they're really able to pick up these kills on, let's say, Dauntless and stuff like that, any team that goes into the field, like Butterfly Effect on that south side, if they're able to start piecing this together, they could be the team that passes up Wanted Vigilantes.
Absolutely. Execute's really got to... They basically have to win the game if they're moving on. We'll see if that happens. So I'm looking more at the, you know, the Dauntless, who still has 4 up. I'm looking at Mezexis here. And those are the 2 that I'm really kind of keying on. And from there, Wanted Vigilantes are just trying to hold them off. Haven't been able to score any points. They're dug in at the Ruins right now. So really interesting. It's funny how the whole tournament in the qualifiers, you're kind of looking at the top of the leaderboard, and then like that last game, maybe 2 games, it's like the focus shifts to all the bottom teams and like who's going to move on.
Yeah, especially with this, you know, everyone knows who's getting first. We've known that since essentially without even playing today. But the crazy thing right now that some of these teams have to do, like Jaguar, is somehow find a spot into this zone. They have that hillside that's just over their street, essentially. maybe try to just crest into it. But Wanted Vigilantes looking like to take the fight with Execute. This could be a game-winning play on Wanted Vigilantes if they can get the kills. SBM getting caught out in the open driving, but no knock from Illusions. They know where he's at now. The little bit of a Kobe. Don't really think it's hidden. Oh, never!
Oh!
Oh my goodness, I had zero faith. I'm sorry, Casper.
Zero faith, and he swished it, baby. All net from downtown. Illusion gets the knock. Is this what Execute needs to get that momentum going up? They confirm the elim. And while this is all going down, Mezexis into it with 2 different squads, Intense Game and Aton, 2 top squads. Mezexis getting beat up a little bit. Things are looking grim for them while Execute starting to gain that momentum.
Mezexis in the feed, getting the bleed out on 1, losing a player in the process as well, so it's just 2, but
3 squads.
Oh man, this is getting way too hectic. There's way too much stuff going around on the map. Casper getting the Bison knock onto another Wanted Vigilantes member. I could see Execute almost pushing up after the reset onto this hillside. Quan trying to make that move, Fishy. Trying to give cover to his teammate on the res. Doesn't get the re-knock on the NA. That's actually really bad for Wanted Vigilantes. Execute able to just pressure the solo, watching over. Quan getting the re-knock onto Ander, and this is looking like a wipe for Execute.
Yeah, Casper saw Fishy there. Fishy had the sneaky off angle, and then the second he dropped that grenade in there, kind of tipped Execute off that, hey, we got some trouble over here. They push it a little bit. Wanted Vigilantes on their last leg right now, connecting on the run over. That'll be it for them. Wanted Vigilantes out in 8th. 0 elims, so they only pick up 1 point. That means Mezexis has jumped them in the final game. And Mezexis, now the team to beat. Execute has their eyes squarely on them.
And with Mezexis, he doesn't get the res. It's just going to be 1 player. I'm not sure if that Maserati he was next to was actually drivable or not. Seems like it is with the Tesla. But the problem is, do you decide, hey, you maybe need to just heal off, get those extra 1 or 2 placement points if you go from 5th to 5th to 4th, 4th
you gotta
to 3rd,
take them.
Or it's, do I drive in, try to get behind my car, smoke out, and do the whole, laundry list of things?
Yeah.
But, all these teams, Butterfly Effect is another team, too, that is starting, put some damage together, pressure these teams. They were the only team that really lived from playing this field spot. A lot of people have the same idea, it looks like, with Dauntless and stuff. I really would have liked to see them, actually, Dauntless, get aggressive and almost play underneath the Execute compound. It's a really rare spot that teams don't play because that western compound that Dauntless is holding is being taken. But as I say that, they do drive and take it. Bit of a hillside.
Execute.
Knocked. Fate playing down
They're starting
hill.
to pick up momentum. What is going on here? Execute up to 8 elims. All 4 players left. Only a few teams remain. And a couple of those short-handed. And Casper connects with another. What is happening?
It starts with 1 PB, and now we're at 8, 9. They didn't get that finish in the field. But,
that
Execute
could be big.
Really starting, and we look at the teams on the right, Intense Gaming is the only team with 4 players. Everyone else is solo and duo. No one's really going to be peeking. They're going to be having the same idea of, if it's not someone pushing me, I'm not shooting. So Execute, getting a lot of free reign. We see it on the map in the top right, just barely. A lot of players spread out, trying to just, hey, there's a smoke here. Let's just keep spamming it. Or if we don't have ammo, let's just keep watching it and make them waste the smokes. You don't have infinite utility. I'm sorry to break it to you. So at some point, that's going to be going down. And at some point, it's going to be free picking. So Fate right now, having that idea, Jaguar could have, maybe shot him, but he's trying to angle out Butterfly Effect. But this could be bad if Fate gets knocked. 1 bullet! Oh, and the save by Quan, getting the double kill, I think, just from the car explosion itself. Oh no, Cat God! Being the rat pickle, I don't know what you'd even call him at this point, but getting the backstab on the last player and just stealing the spot.
If Execute takes this dub, Mezexis put up 11 points. That means that it's more than just Wanted Vigilantes in danger here.
We look at one shot, they were the team that was trio going to the last game, died early on a rotation just east of where the zone played out. This could be a multiple upset kind of game with these teams.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Execute's down to their last member all of a sudden.
What happened here, guys? Who's pointing fingers right now? We're down to just 1. player. Fate, you know, we knew he was going to probably die there being off on the edge, but I mean, the rest of these players, I think, getting a little too overexcited. You're needing the win.
They got
for
picked
sure.
up.
You got to get the win, but it's just, I guess, 2 players now in a disadvantageous spot. I believe Intense Gaming has 3, if not 4 players still. And here we go, the send. It's essentially going to be a 2v2 fight on this hillside. Are they going to stop early? Or are they going to just send it in? Oh, it gets
Connected too.
There
Got
we
him out of the
go.
car. Huge.
But the return.
Oh, the trade. Oh, this is a 1v1 situation. This is absolutely nuts. It's Quan, the pickup from the Panthers, trying to clutch it out. Incoming grenade. This could be huge.
Yeah, but
A little low there. He
missing
went for the
the
tree
mark.
instead of the
I don't-
smoked car. That was interesting.
not sure. I mean, the smoke there, I don't think he really saw it yet, but I would like to see him. Well, I guess actually he doesn't have the name, but he sees the guy out. Where are the guns?
No.
What? Diego saw him. Why not shoot? A little bit of pre-fire. Just try to stay alive. Oh my goodness. The pre-fire from the teammate on the off angle couldn't get the chicken wing exposed. It's another 1v1 situation with Quan, but he's got the nade pulled. I'm liking this. He cancels it. Oh no! Not like this. 15
Oh,
total
no.
points, but that's definitely not enough with how this game
I
played
don't know.
out.
Didn't they need They needed 14, and Juan of Vigilantes only got 1.
Just one, but I think the other problem too would be, you know, there's Mezexis then with that, and then we've got One Shot
Yeah, but-
Esports, so One Shot, I think
Yeah,
was a
Mezexis
20+
jumped him
point.
for sure.
Yeah, Mezexis jumped both teams, and I think One Shot was just barely able to hold out with their 12th place. So we'll have to obviously get
I
the
don't know, man.
confirmation on the desk, you know.
Yeah,
I'm
we'll
not
wait
a
and
math
see, but
guy.
I think Execute might have tied it. I don't know. It's going to be so close. I cannot believe that.
A little 1v2 action with the Cat Pickle God, Worm, Snake. Could be it. I mean, I would have liked to see him just keep trying to go for the knock on Adrian, but I mean, Intense Gaming's basically got this in the bag. They're across both sides of the zone. Unless it just hard shifts to Cat God, there's not much they could really do.
Hey, this is the 4th game in a row. Black Mamba's finishing the top 3. This is their 3rd, at least 2nd place of the day. Shout outs, man. Y'all killed it today. This is an impressive performance, and consistency's been on point. Hasn't been like overly impressive, like, you know, frag totals or massive elims, anything like that. But dang it, they're there at the end of every game today, and you got to salute it.
Yeah, and I think too, you know, comparing it from the first week to the last week of qualifiers and stuff like that, you really just start to think, you know, like what weeks really determine a team more when it comes to these tournaments. It takes, you know, the first few weeks to settle it, but, you know, Intense Gaming, thankfully getting one, but with, you know, Black Mamba being able to determine and, you know, come through with their play style and develop it for this tournament, you know you're going against these teams, and it's not going to be rapidly changing like the start of the tournament.
Pretty impressive game number 12 here of the Premier Qualifiers. Holy crap, I am so excited to get to the overall scores. You guys have no idea. Execute putting up 15 that game. I think they're right in it. They are so freaking close against the Black Mamba. One of these days, they're going to pick up a win. One of these days, but 3 second places today. You'll love to see it. Let's throw it back to the desk and get their thoughts.
Where do we start? First and foremost, okay? Because it's like, we're at this point. By the way, PB, there you go. You're back. Love it. Hey, it's okay, Thanos, man. You snap the fingers, you're gone, all right? It's nice to bring One to Vigilante State back in the mix. But,
Who's that?
dude, like, we have a tight score line, okay? Because at this point, brother, like, who's in 12th place? You know, one thing is for certain what we know, or at least what I think we know, is Wanted Vigilantes is no longer in 12th. And the reason why is because Mezexis does officially pass them up. They got enough points. There was only a 3-point difference between the two. They ended up scoring 11. Wanted Vigilantes only got 1 point, so therefore they do pass them. So we do at least know that. But then Enigma, you brought up the great point, One Shot. Like, where are they at? Because, you know, did they get passed up? But, I mean, Neptura, a big thing for me is Execute. They go from last place to potentially breaking into top 12 with enough points, maybe even tying that of Mezexis. Like, things got a little bit nutty. But where did that energy come from? Because you look at them from the start of the day, we talked about the new roster, to the end, it looks as if they might very well have slipped in somehow, some way.
Yeah. I think a lot of it, some of it will be desperation. You know, it's down to the final game. This is about as bad as it gets, you know, last place final game. But I tell you what, there are some teams who actually enjoy that pressure and play the best under a lot of pressure. One of my very favorite teams in the world, the Gladiators over in EU, they do the same thing. And people are always yelling at them for being bad. And then, you know, it comes to the last 2 days and they just dominate everything because they play super well under that point pressure. So, you know, we could be seeing Execute, you know, with these new shakeups in the roster actually start to have that same sort of mentality. And if so, then good for them because, you know, the more pressure they can put on themselves, the better they can play.
Very well said. The pressure. Some people thrive in it, some people crumble. But there was a lot of great moments for me. And there was, you know, just even Casper running one of the enemies over. But let's go to you, Enigma, because there was a moment where Quan, and it was this moment here, he gets up, shotting out, hits the shot needed. Shortly after this, he ends up dying, but to go for that res, to get the kill right after, there was a moment I really thought he was going to do something amazing. And honestly, he did.
Yeah, and I mean, with that, you know, we see, like, you know, he got the res. As soon as you get the res, the player's the most vulnerable because essentially you just wasted 10 seconds getting the res. For him, he was able to get it. He stayed alive, strafing the trees. Same with his teammate. But for them, you know, it's a lot of just, you know, going for that play. There's some moments where you just really need to hit the shots. And unfortunately there, at the end, I thought he was going to stay prone and go for the nade knock. Unfortunately, he didn't. But, I mean, shout out to him. You know, I think he played it to the best of his abilities.
Sure.
And, you know, there's not much else you can ask for.
Not at all. 15 points for Execute PB. Black Mamba, you mentioned them well, so, I mean, like, getting top 3 once again. They don't get a victory, but that's okay. The consistency this week really showed that going into Premier Finals, they could very well be an amazing, incredible team. We now drop down from 9th to 16th place. A lot of big names on there who didn't have a strong finish.
What the heck? In Hyper? I haven't seen them on the second page like ever. What's going on with this?
Yeah.
I mean, this is a failure of a qualifier for them, if you ask me. They really underperformed here. I don't know. In Hyper, you really guys got to pull it together before the finals here. But no, all jokes aside, pretty impressive stuff from all of these teams, even if they didn't have a great final game. And there you have it in Hyper. That's that performance we were talking about. Incredible stuff from them. Hey, quickly, reflections. I got to point out, intense game in 4th place, missing the entire first week.
Right.
Wow.
Right. Yeah, based off that one game, pretty much. Like, I mean, that was 32 points. And that kind of set the precedence as to what intense game could bring to the table. And, you know, they're a scary roster, without question, and even finishing off strong, winning our final map of the week 3. But let we take a look now, Neptura, from 12th to 13th. One shot does make it through. Execute despite the effort. 5 points behind. They finish in the bottom 4. 1 to Vigilantes, Dauntless, and Bope. But what a race that was to the very end.
It really was, and I think as well you have something to say about kind of the quiet under the radar consistency because one shot did not make top 3 at all. I don't think they even made top 5 all night, and yet they sneak in past some of these teams that did have a few better games. It's just that low, quiet consistency, and sometimes that's all you need.
That's it, you know, and you even look at Loops, going back to America Scrim, we did PB, you know, they were a team that weren't winning, but they were a team that was definitely making an impact, always top 5, and, well, that consistency ended up paying off.
Absolutely. Loops didn't have their strongest tournament, but again, did enough to get into the finals. And ultimately, that's where these, really experienced teams can come out and just, their experience shines. And I expect Loops to do incredibly well in the finals. And they'll be joined by every single invited team from these other regions. You see Aton in the top 5. You got Jaguar in there. You also have, I already said intense game. I did say intense game.
Yep.
Who am I forgetting? I don't even freaking know. Jaguar. Anyway, incredible stuff from intense game though to be there.
That's right. And in Hyper, YKG up there. And the fact that in Hyper wins 162 total points, YKG at 92. But let's real quick, let's go back to game number 4, though, Neptura. There were a lot of good moments, and, several moments stood out to me, but what moment stood out to you?
Really, the biggest moment for me was a YKG moment. I think, no, not YKG, X X rather. I get them mixed up all the time, my bad. But no, this X moment against Wanted Vigilantes here, I mean, after they got that knock, I think X had a really great position here. They had 2 on that ridge. One went behind, as you see on the minimap, one went behind, and his point of view actually has perfect view of that ridge. So Umavi can't come over that ridge without getting sprayed down. So they are effectively stuck down there. So that was a really nice thing. I think Execute did overshoot themselves here a little bit, got knocked as a result of that, but that actually won them the game in the end, because Umavi should have left. That was not a good fight for them, but they stayed because they got that knock, and that's what let Execute get that win.
And ultimately and allowed them to get as close as they did, right, to breaking into that top 12. It would have been miraculous given the fact that they literally redesigned their entire roster going into week 3, and then they narrowly miss out, I think, just by 5 points into the top 12, but a good effort nonetheless. Hey, we had 4 great maps today at PB. Every single one of them, to me at least, were quite special. You know, starting off an hour ago, we saw in Hyper, kind of business as usual, right, starting off with another victory. You know, it's always special to see it, but sometimes it's like, can you not? And then even going into map 2, top 3, but a lot of Black Mamba, right? Second, third, second. That's the biggest story today.
It really is. Black Mamba so consistent today, and it makes you wonder, like, what the heck is going on? Because they do have a chicken dinner to their name. What happened to the other matches? Because they're 6th place, and I feel like with that consistent of a performance today, a chicken dinner at some point before, you know, these days, I don't know what's going on, but I'm liking the way they're trending. Let's put it that way. I'm going to be keeping my eye on Black Mamba in the finals, because they've got to be pretty happy with these placement points here today.
Yeah, I think, you know, it comes down to that week 1, really. That's kind of what put them in the grave. Well, not in the grave necessarily, but that's what hurt them, I think, you know, just getting readjusted back into the Titan series, or for the first time anyways. If they have a strong week 1, who knows where they end up placing? They're not going to go for Hyper's position, I know that at least, but they could have at least taken 2nd place. Really, really impressed with the boys. The fact that they go from Challengers to Titan series, hey, good on them for doing so. It was a great day. It was a great week, and it's been a great 3 weeks in general. We finally know our top 12. We know our top 8 for those bonus points. And we still have a little bit more to do next week. Got 2 great shows coming your way. But Neptura, what are your final words before we get out of here?
Final words are shout out to X, shout out to Black Mamba, shout out to C4, come on guys, and just a great show, great season so far. I'm super duper excited for the finals. I cannot wait for next week. It's gonna be so much fun.
It's going to be lit, isn't it? It's going to be incredible, and I can't wait for more Neptura replay segments, or Neptura moments in general, right? Breaking down some incredible plays. Enigma, always great to be on the desk with you, brother. You called the action very well. What are your final words before we get out of here?
Well, you know, unfortunate and Hyper not breaking the 100 mark. 0 elims in that last game. I would have loved to see that. But final thoughts would have to be, you know, if you're one of those teams that wasn't in that top 4, I mean, your job's not done yet. You're not needing to allow Nova to get that big of a point gap again going into the finals, and you're wanting to be that team that is in that 1st place spot.
Well, and Hyper looks to be the team to beat without question, despite a disappointing game number 4. PB, you kind of set that tone at least a little bit ago. All jokes, though, of course. Always great working with you, brother. What are your final words before we get out of here?
I got some surprises, man. This qualifier showed us some things that, you know, maybe we didn't expect. First and foremost, I got to go to Hyper. I didn't expect they'd stomp the competition this badly. I thought they might win, but I didn't think it was going to be this dominant. YKG, good to see them resurface. And we mentioned Black Mamba already. Really surprised with them. And on the opposite side of things, surprised with Execute's performance. Surprised Dauntless didn't make the cut. And C4 Esports, where were they after such a dominant season 1? Going to keep my eye on them. They did make it through to the finals. But my final note is, as all of these teams make their way to one finals or the other, the bottom 4 going to Challenger finals. Their job is not done yet either. They have an opportunity to earn their way right back to the Premier Finals. All they got to do is go down there and place top 4. All of that action goes down next week, and I'm so excited to see it.
That's right. Next week, we have 2 shows coming your way, and that is going to be Challenger Finals. That's going to be on Tuesday, starting at 7 Eastern. It's going to be 6 wonderful maps played. Who will be moving on from that? And then, of course, we have Premier Finals, which is what culminates, right? We've been watching 3 great weeks of the Titan series. Everything going down who's going to end up taking the Premier Finals. You can find out Thursday at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. If you haven't hit that sub button, make sure you do so, because we keep the PUBG Mobile action coming your way each and every broadcast. But all good things must come to an end, and this is one of those good things coming to an end. For myself, Taylor, Reflections, Noble, our talented talent team, our production crew, and you in chat, thank you so much for being here. Be back Tuesday for Challenger Finals, 7 o'clock Eastern. We'd love to have you.